Chapter 147. Brother Zhao Feng. In this desperate situation, the four members of the team revealed looks of pleasant surprise. Zhao Feng stood on top of a tree and shot 2 arrows from 100 yards away, killing one of the vice heads. With one less vice head, Huang Yun and the others wouldn't have to worry about their lives for the time being. Kid, didn't you already run away? How did you get past my guards? Xingqian finally reacted and stared at Zhao Feng. Huang Yun and the others were also confused. Before, Zhao Feng had gone deep into the forest to chase after the enemy, but he had suddenly disappeared. Guards? With just a few half-baked array formation apprentices? Zhao Feng snickered coldly as he took out a bag and threw it forward. Gulu. 3 bloody heads rolled out of the cloth sack. My son. Xingqian was enraged as he stared at Zhao Feng coldly. Huang Yun and the others took a closer look and found that the 3 heads were familiar. One of them was the housekeeper of the Xing family, and the other 2 were the young masters. Without anyone managing this half-baked formation, there are only some materials and primal crystal stones left. It won't be able to operate for long. Zhao Feng said calmly. That was great. Huang Yun and the others were overjoyed. Once the array collapsed, they would be free and would have the chance to turn the situation around. This Zhao Feng is indeed a genius in the Tao of arrays. With just a few casual moves, he managed to turn the tide. Xiao Sun and the others looked at each other, and they couldn't help but admire him. When Zhao Feng disappeared, he had secretly destroyed the deadly wind illusion poison array and killed the vice head at the critical moment. One could say that Zhao Feng had saved the entire mission team, saved all their lives. Su Ren and Xiao Sun, who had conflicts with Zhao Feng in the past, felt complicated and guilty. Bastard! I, Xingqian, will tear you to pieces for killing my son. Xingqian roared as he turned into a purple blur and pounced toward Zhao Feng. Not good. Stop him. Su Ren, Xiao Sun, and Lin Fan's expressions changed as they tried their best to stop him. From the perspective of the team, Zhao Feng, as a sharpshooter and a genius in array formations, played a crucial role, and the enemy must not be allowed to approach. Xingqian wasn't driven by hatred, and he knew this very well. Zhao Feng's archery was truly terrifying. If he were to stand far away, it would become a fatal long-range suppression. Ding, bang, bang. Su Ren, Lin Fan, and Xiao Sun's attacks landed on Xingqian's body, but they couldn't deal any real damage. Xingqian was originally at the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm, and after the corpse refining technique, his body had exceeded the limits of a human, especially his defense. In the group, the only person who could stop Xingqian was the leader, Huang Yun. Huang Yun, stop him, Lin Fan said urgently. Huang Yun's speed was extremely high, and being an elite at the 2nd sky with a mortal weapon, he could even challenge those at the 3rd sky. Ding! Huang Yun's blade landed on Xingqian's head, but he didn't stop him. Instead, he retreated tens of steps as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Why was it like this? Lin Fan looked towards Huang Yun with hatred. Su Ren and Xiao Sun also fell into deep thought. I've offended a core disciple and an elder of the clan, so don't blame me. Huang Yun's expression was cold. Being in the clan, he knew that the strong ate the weak. Even if he knew that Yuan Ji and Quan Chun were using him, he would still choose the strong side. Yuan Ji was a core disciple and had an elder behind him, whereas Zhao Feng was just an ant at the 1st sky without any background. He would always stand on the side of the strong, no matter if it was right or wrong. This was what Huang Yun had learnt after being in the clan for so many years. If he had to choose between Zhao Feng and a core disciple, he would rather be the latter's chess piece. Therefore, at the critical moment, Huang Yun didn't use all his strength to stop Xingqian. Zhao Feng, who was standing on top of the tree, smiled weirdly. Shua. His body turned into a blur, and a few illusionary figures appeared in everyone's sight, merging into the night. After comprehending the illusion fish picture, Zhao Feng's movement skill had reached the level of profound and illusory. What? Xingqian's heart shook. He didn't know what kind of movement skill Zhao Feng had used, but he could only see a few illusionary figures. He didn't know which one to chase, so he could only watch as the Zhao Feng escaped. What kind of movement skill is that? The few people in the team looked at each other. Huang Yun's heart went cold as he saw the disappointment in Zhao Feng's eyes before he left. Zhao Feng had saved everyone's lives at the critical moment, allowing Xiao Sun and Su Ren to bury the hatchet. However, Huang Yun's killing intent towards him didn't waver at all. Zhao Feng disappeared once again, and Xing Chun lost his target. His eyes turned red as he started to furiously attack Huang Yun and company. The power of the deadly wind illusion poison array wasn't destroyed in a short amount of time. Xing Chen's counterattack caught Huang Yun and company off guard. Zhao Feng, how dare you run away? After we finish the mission, I will definitely tell the elders to kick you out of the clan. Huang Yun circulated his true force and threatened. After the death of one of the Vice Hall Masters, Huang Yun could barely hold on with 4 against 2. As time passed, the array would collapse, and they would at least be undefeatable. However, as time passed, the power of the deadly wind illusion poison array didn't dissipate. The 4 men in the formation had their bodily functions destroyed by the poison, and their true power was getting weaker and weaker. What's going on? Why hasn't the array dissipated yet? Huang Yun's breathing became rushed as cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He was being forced into a corner by Xing Chun. Because he was the leader and the strongest, Xing Chen's attacks were all aimed at him. Although the deadly wind illusion poison array isn't controlled by anyone, it won't dissipate in a short amount of time. In the depths of the forest, a youth murmured. Half the time it took to make tea later. Leader Huang Yun's injuries were not light. His strength had waned, and he only had 60 to 70% of his usual strength. Su Ren and the other 2 also faced danger from time to time, but they were fine. Bong. So, occasionally, an arrow would be shot out from the depths of the forest, saving them at the critical moment. So Brother Zhao was helping us from the shadows. Lin Fan's face was filled with gratitude and joy. Xiao Sun and Su Ren had also been helped a few times, so they were grateful toward Zhao Feng. Only Huang Yun's expression was dark as he roared. Of the group, he was the only one who hadn't received Zhao Feng's help. Even though he was in mortal peril, Zhao Feng had no intention of intervening. Zhao Feng, you shameless brat. You want to kill me? I'll report you to the Law Enforcement Division when I return to the clan. Huang Yun roared. Law Enforcement Division. Hearing these 3 words, the hearts of Xiao Sun and company jumped. The Broken Moon clan was split into many departments, and the Law Enforcement Division had the most power. It was the nightmare of those who broke the rules of the clan. Brother Huang's words are wrong. I tried my best, but I could only protect 3 people. Just like Brother Huang, you couldn't stop Xing Chun from chasing me. Zhao Feng's mocking voice sounded. As soon as he said this, Huang Yun was stunned. He had purposely let Zhao Feng go, and now Zhao Feng was purposely letting him go as well. An eye for an eye, an eye for an eye. Huang Yun was speechless, and he wanted to tear Zhao Feng's corpse into 10,000 pieces. On the other side, Xing Chun rejoiced in his heart. Luckily, this group couldn't work together, or else it would be hard to deal with them. Just as he was thinking about this, the situation changed. A few gold arrows flashing with true power pierced through the night sky, flying towards the Manor Lord and Vice Manor Lord. Talk! The Vice Master's leg was hit by an arrow, and his body staggered as he took a heavy blow from Su Ren and company. Zhao Feng's archery skills were stronger than he had imagined, and the places he hit were acupuncture points. Shoo! One of the arrows almost brushed past Xing Chen's eyelid, which made him break out in cold sweat. At the critical moment, Zhao Feng once again counterattacked, catching the enemies off guard. Shua! An illusory figure swooped down from a dare. Lightning wind palm. The Vice and Xing Chen only heard the sound of thunder in their ears, and their hearts trembled. Pa! A thunderous palm strike landed on the Vice Villa Master's body. The Vice Master's leg was injured, so he was hit in the back of the head by the lightning wind palm. Crack! The Vice Master didn't even have time to scream before his head split into pieces and he died on the spot. When he fell to the ground dead, everyone could still hear the sound of thunder in their ears. The power of the palm that killed the Vice Master even made Xing Chun, who had the highest cultivation, change his expression. Talk, At the same time, the faint purple lines of blood started to fall, and the whirlwind above their heads started to dissipate. The array is broken. Everyone, let's team up and kill the Xing Chun. Huang Yun heaved a sigh of relief. His blood was roused as he shouted loudly. The battle intent of the five rose as they leapt towards Xing Chun. Run! Xing Chun panicked, and he knew that there was nothing he could do. Without the restriction of the array, the five of them would become stronger and stronger. Being a cultivator at the third sky of the Ascended Realm, Xing Chun's speed was extremely fast, and only Huang Yun and Zhao Feng could catch up. Huang Yun was secretly surprised. He didn't think that a brat at the first sky of the Ascended Realm like Zhao Feng would be able to match his speed. One had to know that his speed was one of the top amongst those of the same rank, and he could even compete with some of the disciples at the third sky of the Ascended Realm. So, at a certain point in time, Xing Chun's figure flashed, and he disappeared in front of a hill. Everyone paused as they watched their target disappear into the distance. There's an array here, so it's most likely Xing Chun's secret cave. Huang Yun's eyes twinkled with excitement as he arrived in front of the hill. A light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes as he understood what was going on. From the reports, Xing Chun was only at the second sky of the Ascended Realm, which was the same as Lord Guanjuan. But how did he break through to the third sky of the Ascended Realm in such a short amount of time? Where did the poison that enveloped the entire manor come from? Huang Yun guessed that the secret cave hidden by the formation was likely to contain an evil inheritance, or even some ancient ruins with a completely different world within. Su Ren and company who had arrived at the hill were also full of questions and guesses. The answer was right in front of them. Brother Zhao, as long as you're willing to break the array, I'll give you 30% of the profits. Huang Yun squeezed out a smile as he messaged the azure-haired one-eyed youth next to him. Chapter 148. Out of the group of five, only Zhao Feng understood arrays, and he was a famous array genius. At this moment, facing the wicked inheritance under the cover of the array, the four of them looked at him eagerly. Even the leader Huang Yun, who had previously bullied Zhao Feng, now had a flattering smile on his face. If I ask for help from the clan, then I won't be able to get any benefits from the wicked inheritance. Huang Yun had his own plans. Right now, he could only use Zhao Feng to break the array and enter the place of the wicked inheritance. First, he would be able to complete the mission, and second, he would be able to get the benefits from the inheritance. As for the promise of benefits, Huang Yun snickered coldly. His real goal for this mission was to kill Zhao Feng. If he could kill Zhao Feng during the inheritance, then he would be killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Zhao Feng stood in front of the hill with his eyes squinted, but he didn't say anything. Brother Zhao, I've heard that you're known as an array genius in the clan mission division. Can you break this array? Huang Yun's smile was bright, and his voice was filled with respect. Su Ren and the others all looked expectantly at Zhao Feng. Don't try to get close to me. Zhao Feng's cold voice was like a stick hitting Huang Yun's head, causing his face to change between green and red. However, in front of the unknown benefits, he couldn't do anything. Brother Huang, Brother Zhao is breaking the array. Let's not disturb him. Su Ren looked at Zhao Feng's focused expression and pulled Huang Yun to the side. Huang Yun's heart was filled with anger, but he could only give in. Zhao Feng stood in front of the hill with a mocking expression, not putting the benefits that Huang Yun had promised him a heart. As for the array in front of him, his mouth couldn't help but curl up. In terms of array skills, Zhao Feng was naturally better than some of the disciples, but compared to some of the older array masters, there was still a gap. If Zhao Feng had to set up a few arrays, he wouldn't even be able to beat some of the older array masters. However, if it was just breaking the array, Zhao Feng had great confidence. With the help of his mysterious left eye, he could even see some of the sect's large and profound formations. For example, Zhao Feng could be responsible for looking for flaws in the thousand-leaf pool's origin-gathering formation. Zhao Feng had even found a loophole in the powerful formation set up in the Hollow Tower, which had a long history, and obtained quite a few mortal advanced rank cultivation techniques. However, Zhao Feng couldn't act too easily now. This illusory formation has probably lasted for 100 years. It is indeed extraordinary. Zhao Feng pretended to be deep in thought. He sighed softly and looked ahead with an infatuated expression. Huang Yun and the others behind him didn't even dare to breathe loudly, afraid that they would disturb him. After a long while, Zhao Feng's blindfold revealed a slit as he took out the golden stairs bow and fired several arrows from afar. Boom! Swoosh! The sharp and powerful golden arrow, dragged along the strong green glazed true power, pierced into the array in front of them. However, after the arrow disappeared, the array in front of them didn't change at all. Brother Zhao, can you do it or not? Huang Yin was slightly anxious. Zhao Feng didn't bother with him, and he just stood there calmly. After waiting for a moment, the hill in front of them started to shake strangely. Wang, a blood-red light flashed in the air, and the hill in front of them disappeared. A cave appeared in the middle of the dust. The walls of the cave were suffused with a trace of strange blood, and the aura was gloomy, causing one to feel uneasy. Everyone stared at the entrance of the cave with excitement, and their hearts started to beat faster. The array is broken. Zhao Feng let out a breath and said coldly, Brother Huang, what are you waiting for? Do you want another disciple at the first sky of the Ascended Realm to lead the way for you? Huang Yun's face went red, and he said hesitantly, I wonder if there's another array in the cave. That Xing Chun accidentally found a loophole in the array when he was at the second sky of the Ascended Realm. Does Brother Huang not have confidence in himself? Zhao Feng laughed lightly. Huang Yun was cunning, but he was also as timid as a mouse. Since Brother Huang doesn't dare, then I'll go first. Su Ren's face was filled with anticipation, as if he wanted to give it a try. Wait, let me go first. Huang Yun smiled confidently, and he once again went deeper into the cave. Xiao Sun and company were stunned. This Huang Yun changed his attitude way too fast. Zhao Feng laughed in his heart. This Huang Yun must be worried that Su Ren would get the treasures first. This was because Su Ren's cultivation was the closest to his. At the same time, Huang Yun wouldn't forget about Zhao Feng. This youth of the first sky might be even scarier. After all, no one who trained the lightning wind palm was normal. The first part of the cave was narrow, and it could only fit one person at a time. After walking tens of yards, the path in front of them became wider. Zhao Feng noticed some details. There were obvious signs of someone digging this cave. As they went deeper into the cave, a cold and bloody aura became more obvious. This aura made Huang Yun's heart beat faster, and he was overjoyed. His guesses were correct. There was indeed an inheritance of the wicked path in this cave. Only Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as his left eye beat faster, and he felt uneasy. According to his analysis, there was a high chance that there was an inheritance of the wicked path in this cave, but there was also another possibility. After 100 yards, the walls of the cave had turned crimson red. Look, Su Ren exclaimed as he looked ahead. At the front of the cave was a square made of crimson red rocks. On the square, there was a 10-yard-tall crimson statue that gave off an ancient aura. The blood-colored stone sculpture depicted a demon with cold eyes that looked down on the heavens. It had a head full of angry scarlet hair, and there was a scarlet moon between its eyebrows. Its eyes also flickered with scarlet light, and its body was as tall as a demon god. A pair of blood wings extended from the demon's back. They were over 100 feet wide and looked like they could blot out the sky and cover the sun. Facing the scarlet moon demon statue, Zhao Feng's heart moved. When he thought of his blue hair and blue eyes, he felt an inexplicable sense of resonance. It was just a blood-red statue, but when the five of them faced it, their hearts were shaken, and they even had the illusion of worshipping it. Could this be? Xiao Sun stared at the Scarlet Moon demon statue in shock and fear. Zhao Feng could clearly see that Xiao Sun's pores were open, and he was drenched in cold sweat. Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Huang Yin said word by word, his voice trembling. It was hard to tell if it was out of fear or excitement. Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Zhao Feng's heart shook as he suddenly remembered some related memories. A few hundred years ago, there was a super force called the Scarlet Moon demonic religion on the Greenflower continent. The sect master of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was an anomaly to begin with. It was said that he obtained great fortune from an ancient inheritance and cultivated a peerless demonic art. His abilities surpassed countless experts on the continent. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion created by the Patriarch was glorious, and almost no force could stop it. Putting aside the Broken Moon clan, even the super forces of the northern continent couldn't resist the army of the demonic religion. When the demonic religion was at its peak, it almost swept across the continent. At that time, all the forces on the continent, under the threat of danger, the 10 great clans teamed up and formed an alliance. Only then did they barely manage to destroy the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. In that era, there were countless experts at the true spirit realm that died. There were even figures of sovereigns at the origin core realm. Even those legendary figures had to team up to fight against the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. As for whether the Scarlet Moon demonic religion patriarch was dead or alive, it was still a mystery. Some people said that the Scarlet Moon demonic religion patriarch had died. Others said that he was sealed in a forbidden place, and others said that he had reincarnated and was waiting for a chance in the future to rise again. All in all, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was a taboo on the continent and was the enemy of all the forces. It was just one step away from unifying the continent. This was something that had never happened in the past 10,000 years. At this point in time, knowing that this secret cave was connected to the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, everyone felt a chill run down their spine. This might be a small stronghold left behind by the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Since the demonic religion has been destroyed, there shouldn't be any leftovers here, or else Xing Chen wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed. Huang Yin took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. The 5 discussed for a while and decided to go deeper. After all, Xing Chen was able to escape unscathed and obtain fortune, meaning that there shouldn't be any threats in here. Otherwise, if there were any leftovers here, even if it was just a small fry, they wouldn't be able to stop them. Stepping onto the square, 3 man-made paths appeared in front of them. Of the 3 blood channels, the middle one was the largest. There are footprints in the middle path. Xing Chen should have gone in there. Let's try to kill him and complete the mission before thinking about anything else. Su Ren's suggestion received the approval of the others. The 5 of them walked straight towards the blood path in the middle. As they went deeper, the smell of blood became stronger. The unease in Zhao Feng's heart became more and more obvious. Huang Yun and company's hearts tensed up as they looked around cautiously. Finally, they reached the end of the path. A blood-colored cliff appeared in front of them, and below it was a pool of blood that had almost dried up. In the blood pool, there was a bloody corpse with dark silver stripes all over its body. Next to it was a lot of junk. Sir, they actually came in? How is this possible? Xing Chen sat next to the blood pond and looked at the 5 of them with fear. Obviously, he didn't think that the 5 would be able to pass through the array and enter the stronghold of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Sir, could there be another person here? The hearts of Zhao Feng and company skipped a beat. If there really were leftovers of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion here, they wouldn't be able to resist at all. Following Xing Chen's gaze, the 5's attention also landed on the silver-striped blood corpse. The remaining blood in the blood pool, or rather, the fresh blood, suddenly rippled. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. In the next instant, a terrifying bloodthirsty aura spread out from the pool. The pressure almost made them puke blood. Plop, plop. Xiao Sun and Lin Fan couldn't handle the pressure, and they half knelt on the ground. The faint azure blood in Zhao Feng's body shook slightly and resisted the pressure that was pressing down on his soul and bloodline. Ignorant brats, how dare you intrude the demonic religion's ruins and disturb my cultivation? Today, I will sacrifice you to recover from your injuries. A horrifying and cold voice echoed between the rock walls. The silver-striped blood corpse in the pool slowly climbed up, its eyes flashing with a scarlet light. It was unimaginable that a corpse that had lived for so long could climb up alive. Huang Yun and the others fell into endless fear, their bodies trembling uncontrollably. Chapter 149. The silver-striped blood corpses slowly climbed up from the dried-up blood pond. It was as if the dead had come back to life and an invisible mental energy pressure filled the area around the blood pond. Wang, the entire cave and the wall seemed to be shaking under the power of the corrupt path. It was as if the entire mountain was shaking. Huang Yun and company fell into endless fear, and their faces went white. They couldn't even think of resisting. "Sir, please spare us." Huang Yun, who was at the very front, was so scared that he peed his pants, and with a plop, he kneeled on the ground. "Huang Yun, you're the leader, but you're afraid of death, and you've submitted to the demonic religion." Su Ren and company felt their hearts go cold. As the leader, he had surrendered to the enemy. The unity of the group instantly collapsed. Under the curses of the others, Huang Yun knelt on the ground and begged the silver-striped blood corpses for mercy. Always standing on the side of the strong was Huang Yun's way of standing in the clan. Huang Yun had heard of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion from hundreds of years ago. Even a small fry in the demonic religion could kill normal disciples of small clans like them. Furthermore, from the aura of the silver-striped blood corpses, they weren't small fries. They were probably at the upper echelon of the demonic religion. In the past, anyone of the upper echelon of the demonic religion could easily destroy a clan that was on the same level as the Broken Moon clan. "Ha! Juniors, this, sir, is the protector of the Blood Corpse chapter of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. If you surrender now, you might have a chance to live." Xing Chen's smug face appeared from the corner. "Huang Yun greets protector. I'm willing to work for you." Huang Yun's face was filled with joy as he kowtowed to express his loyalty. Apparently, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had 12 divisions and 108 divisions. They had infiltrated every corner of the continent and wanted to conquer it. Any one of the 108 divisions could easily destroy the 13 clans of the Cloud Alliance. Even with the help of the two strong countries, they still wouldn't be a match for them. From this, one could see how terrifying a division of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was. The silver-striped blood corpse in front of him was actually a protector of the blood corpse division. Its position was second only to the division leader. Several hundred years ago, even the Broken Moon clan master would have to be respectful towards him. "What should I do?" Su Ren panicked and subconsciously looked toward Zhao Feng. He also didn't know why he would consult this blue-haired, one-eyed youth. During the mission, Zhao Feng's calm mind and ability to control the situation were admirable. It was precisely because of him that the team was able to survive until now and even enter the Crimson Moon Devil Nest. Among the 5 of them, only Zhao Feng managed to keep his cool. Space in the left eye. The Azure Abyss gave off an ancient and profound aura that merged with the faint azure blood in his body, turning the external mental pressure into nothingness. "Ha!" Zhao Feng reached out and patted Lin Fan's shoulder. Lin Fan's mind shook. He felt a cold and agile, true power unclog his suppressed qi and blood, and his trembling mind also calmed down. A look of gratitude appeared on his face as he forced himself to stand up and resist the mental pressure. Walking out of the abyss, Lin Fan felt that he had defeated the fear in his heart and the devil in his heart. "Get up." Su Ren did the same thing and patted Xiao Sun, making the latter also get up. Xiao Sun and Lin Fan, who had successfully stood up, still felt suffocated as they faced the silver-striped blood corpses that stood up from the dried-up blood pool. But the team of 5 had recovered some of their strength, leaving only Huang Yun, who was kneeling on the ground, not daring to get up. "Brats, why aren't you submitting to Lord Protector? Are you tired of living?" Xing Chen saw them stand up, and he yelled out, "Woo!" The silver-striped blood corpse slightly opened its mouth and a low voice sounded out, making everyone's hearts tremble. "Out of the 5 of you, only 2 can live and become my slaves. Everyone else will be sacrificed for the blood sacrifice." The cold voice of the silver-striped blood corpse echoed around the walls. The expressions of the team of 5 changed, especially Huang Yun. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he secretly circulated his true force. Leader Huang Yun, even if you kill 3 of us, the remaining 2 will not be able to escape the fate of being sacrificed." Zhao Feng's mocking voice sounded out. Huang Yun's kneeling body froze. not knowing if it was because Zhao Feng had seen through his intentions or because his mind was shaken. That's right. This demon just wants to split our strength. Don't fall for it. Lin Fan exclaimed. In the face of death, only Zhao Feng was calm and unaffected by the silver-striped blood corpse's words. I've just awakened not long ago, and I happen to be short on manpower. How dare you question my words? Do you want me to slaughter all of you? The silver-striped blood corpse's voice became colder and colder, filled with killing intent. Everyone's hearts turned cold, not doubting the silver-striped blood corpse's strength and killing intent. Huang Yun's wavering heart quickly calmed down as he thought, if I submit, there's still hope. If I resist, there's no hope at all. Lord Protector, if you really have the ability, why don't you capture and kill us with a wave of your hand? Why do you need to go through so much trouble? Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he said coldly. As soon as he said this, the atmosphere became tense. Su Ren, Lin Fan, and Xiao Sun were all smart people, and they instantly understood what Zhao Feng meant. Without a doubt, the silver-striped blood corpse must be weak right now, or else it wouldn't need a blood sacrifice to recover. If the silver-striped blood corpse really had absolute power, it could easily kill a few of them with a wave of its hand and use the blood sacrifice technique to recover. But in reality, the silver-striped blood corpse was just creating a threatening aura, using words to split the strength of the group. The silver-striped blood corpse's face turned cold. Do you think I don't have the ability to do so? As soon as he said this, a cold and bloody mental energy swept over, causing the wind to howl and the mountain to shake. It's just a mental energy attack. Lord Protector, you're only strong on the surface. There's not much power in your body. Zhao Feng's eyes were sharp as he stood still. After breaking through to the Ascended Realm, his left eye had changed, and he could control an unknown power in the mental energy domain. The mental energy attack from the silver-striped blood corpse was only slightly stronger than normal cultivators at the 7th Ascended Realm, and Zhao Feng could sense the weakness within. Just then, the silver-striped blood corpse's aura seemed to have caused the mountain to shake, but that was just a mental energy attack. But unfortunately, Zhao Feng, who had the mysterious left eye, seemed to be immune to illusions. First sky of the Ascended Realm. How is this possible? The silver-striped blood corpse couldn't believe it, and panic appeared in its eyes. According to his original plan, he would use his mental energy attack to scare them to the point where they had no ability to fight. Then, he would use words to divide them, leaving only two alive so that they could kill each other. In the end, he would reap the benefits. However, the silver-striped blood corpse didn't expect Zhao Feng at all. Apart from being scared when facing the silver-striped blood corpses, Zhao Feng slowly calmed down and realized that the opponent's flaws were becoming more and more obvious. Ha! Looks like this guy's just an empty shell. Su Ren laughed out loud. The others let out a breath as they realized what was going on. Being able to become inner disciples meant that they weren't stupid. In fact, they were all smart people. Only Zhao Feng was able to maintain his calm in that desperate situation. Now, they could confirm that the silver-striped blood corpse hadn't awakened for long, and it was heavily injured, so its power was limited. At least, he didn't have overwhelming strength. Therefore, the group of 5 still had a chance to fight back. Apart from Huang Yun, who was still hesitating, the other 4 were filled with battle intent. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face as he let out a breath. He probably wouldn't be able to fight against the silver-striped blood corpse and Xing Chen alone. If he could gather the strength of the group, he would have a higher chance of winning. Ignorant brats. Since you've given up your last chance, then I'll kill you all. The silver-striped blood corpse's eyes flashed with a crimson light, and a layer of purplish blood-colored corpse aura enveloped its body, condensing a soul-stirring pressure in the air. Shua! The silver-striped blood corpse's figure flashed, and it charged towards the group of 5, with Xing Chen following closely behind. Gulu! Huang Yun rolled on the ground in fear, and he tried to meet up with the other 4. However, he had completely underestimated the silver-striped blood corpse's speed. The latter was much stronger than Xing Chen, and it was close to the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm. The silver-striped blood corpse's silver claws slashed across Huang Yun's shoulder. Ah! Huang Yun screamed in pain as one of his arms fell off with a crack. At the same time, a corrosive and cold corpse poison entered his body. "Save me!" Huang Yun screamed as he begged Zhao Feng and company for help. The four took in a cold breath. They didn't think that the silver-striped blood corpse would have such terrifying strength when it was at its weakest. "I'll go save Huang Yun and stall the corpse. You guys think of a way to kill Xingchen." Zhao Feng pulled open his golden stairs bow, and he sent a message to the other three. Su Ren and the other two glanced deeply at Zhao Feng before leaping towards Xingchen and attacking him. Zhao Feng's plan wasn't hard to guess. Gather their firepower to kill Xingchen and then beat the corpse. But before that, someone needed to restrain the strongest blood corpse. That was the key. However, could Zhao Feng really stall the corpse? So. A few golden arrows, dragging along a green, true power undulation, shot towards the silver-striped blood corpses like lightning. Ding, ding, ding. The golden arrows hit the silver-striped blood corpse, and sparks flew everywhere. The silver-striped blood corpse was only slightly blocked, and the arrows didn't even break through its defense. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. The silver-striped blood corpse's strength at its peak was terrifying. Although it was extremely weak right now, its body was still strong, and it could ignore attack from anyone below the true spirit realm. "Save me." Huang Yun had lost an arm, and he used Zhao Feng's attacks to escape from the silver-striped blood corpse. "Huang Yun, if you run, you'll die for sure. Hurry up and team up with me." Zhao Feng pulled open his golden stairs bow, and he sent a message to Huang Yun. Huang Yun was, after all, an elite at the second sky of the Ascended Realm, and he had a mortal weapon, which meant that he could challenge those of the third sky. If he teamed up with Zhao Feng, they might be able to stall for a while. But Huang Yun had already been scared out of his wits by the silver-striped blood corpse's attacks, and he ran towards the exit. Crack! With a flash of purple and blood-red light, Huang Yun's body was torn in half by the silver-striped blood corpse. Zhao Feng's heart went cold, and he shook his head. This Huang Yun was indeed unreliable. Chapter 150. Zhao Feng didn't put Huang Yun's life in his eyes, but he was disappointed that Huang Yun didn't even have the courage to fight to the death. Otherwise, if they dragged this out, Xingyan would have been killed by the other three, and they would have had a 60% chance of winning. There was a saying, "Don't be afraid of a godlike opponent, but be afraid of a pig-like teammate." At this moment, only Zhao Feng was left facing the silver-striped blood corpse. "It's your turn soon." The silver-striped blood corpse stood in the pool of blood and licked its lips with a wicked smile. A layer of blood flowed around its body, forming a weird cycle with the blood of the corpse under its feet. At the end of the cave, on the other side, Su Ren, Xiao Sun, and Lin Fan were forcing Xing Yun into a corner. When Xing Chen was in the forest, he was surrounded and injured. Now that he was being attacked by three people, he was at the end of his tether. Suddenly, Su Ren and the other two heard Huang Yun scream. From the corner of his eyes, he saw Huang Yun's corpse lying in a pool of blood. Their hearts went cold. Not good. Brother Zhao. Lin Fan couldn't help but worry for Zhao Feng. But the three of them were also at a critical moment, and they could kill Xing Yun at any time. Xing Yun was forced into a dangerous situation, but he gritted his teeth and fought against the three of them. He knew that as long as he dragged this out, Zhao Feng would be killed by the Lord Enforcer, and the situation would turn around. The one in danger was still Zhao Feng. Facing the silver-striped blood corpse alone, would he be able to block it? Kakik, the silver-striped blood corpse, stood in the pool of blood, and its eerie laughter sounded out. Zhao Feng didn't move as he pulled on his golden stairs bow and laughed coldly. "You think I'll let you get away with this?" As soon as he said this, his hand that pulled on the golden stairs bow glowed with green true force, which was much sharper than before. This was the true force of the heavenly wind god technique. So. 3 golden arrows with sharp green light trailing behind them formed a triangle and pierced towards the silver-striped blood corpses at lightning speed. One of the arrows shot towards the silver-striped blood corpse's eye at an even faster speed. The silver-striped blood corpse was shocked and quickly closed its eyes. Ding! 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 3 sharp arrows pierced the silver-striped blood corpses, causing sparks to fly. The silver-striped blood corpses were unharmed. This was not out of Zhao Feng's expectations. Hateful brat! The silver-striped blood corpse retreated a few steps in anger. As it turned out, Zhao Feng's real goal was to pierce the silver-striped blood corpse's knee, joint, and ankle with the other 2 arrows. The power contained within the 2 arrows could threaten cultivators at the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm, and it made the silver-striped blood corpses take a few steps back. In this way, the silver-striped blood corpses left the pool of blood where Huang Yun was. The blood circulating on the silver-striped blood corpses suddenly disappeared. The blood sacrifice technique was interrupted by Zhao Feng. As it turned out, the silver-striped blood corpse's true purpose was to use a secret technique to absorb the blood essence left behind by Huang Yun's corpse to recover its strength. If it was a normal person, their blood would have no effect on the silver-striped blood corpses. But Huang Yun was at the peak 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm, and he had gone through a transformation at the Ascended Realm, so the power contained within his blood wasn't to be underestimated. The power of the Heavenly Wind God technique is indeed not simple. Zhao Feng thought as he pulled the golden stairs bow once again and started to attack the silver-striped blood corpses. Ding, ding, ding. The silver-striped blood corpses blocked all the attacks, and it leapt toward Zhao Feng. Shua! Zhao Feng quickly put away the golden stairs bow, and his figure turned into a few blurs as he escaped in different directions. Ignorant brat! The silver-striped blood corpses laughed mockingly as it locked onto Zhao Feng's true body and chased after him. Zhao Feng's heart clenched, and he soon understood that although the silver-striped blood corpses had lost its power, its cultivation was still high, and it wouldn't be tricked by his illusion fish movement skill. Shua! Several figures disappeared, and Zhao Feng's true body glowed with a transparent azure light. His speed suddenly increased by another level. Crack! The silver-striped blood corpse's palm missed and shattered the stone wall. Zhao Feng's speed suddenly rose to a terrifying level, and he was as agile as a fish. He circulated the Heavenly Wind God technique, and under the effect of the true force, his speed had reached a whole new level. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's movement skill was based on the high-class mortal movement skill, and the illusion fish picture was the core of it. At this point in time, Zhao Feng's speed could easily deal with those at the peak 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm. The silver-striped blood corpse's attacks all missed, and it roared furiously, causing illusions to affect it. If it was anyone else, even those at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm or higher, they wouldn't be able to escape. Unfortunately, his opponent was Zhao Feng, who was almost immune to mental illusions. Protector, it looks like you just woken up and your body is still stiff. Although your defense is strong, the power in your body isn't limitless. As Zhao Feng moved, he faintly smiled. According to his plan, as long as Xingqian was killed by Su Run and the others, they would be able to exhaust the silver-striped blood corpses to death. Since I can't do anything to you, then I'll kill the other 3 first. A cunning light flashed in the silver-striped blood corpse's eyes as it charged towards Su Run and the others. Not good. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically. The enemy he was facing was an old monster that had lived for hundreds of years and was a middle-tier figure in the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. How could it be easy to deal with? Seeing the silver-striped blood corpse's mental energy pressure, the walls seemed to shake as it charged towards Su Ren and the others. The hearts of Su Ren and the other 2 trembled, which allowed Xingqian to grasp a chance of survival. He circulated his true force and turned into a blood-red figure as he escaped out of the cave. Zhao Feng only had 2 choices. 1, to kill Xingqian. 2, to save the other 3. With a thought, Zhao Feng made the second choice, and he chased after the silver-striped blood corpses. Lightning Wind Palm. The wind howled like thunder, and it covered the entire area, which shook the hearts of Su Ren and the other two, allowing them to break free from the illusions created by the mental energy pressure. Boom! Zhao Feng and the silver-striped blood corpses clashed. After the thunderous roar, the two of them suddenly separated. Zhao Feng's body flew backwards, and his palm went numb. He almost spat out blood on the spot. The silver-striped blood corpse's strength and attack was extremely terrifying. It was close to the fourth sky of the Ascended Realm. Weak lightning power. The silver-striped blood corpses stood on the spot, and it stared at the small black mark on its palm, which soon healed. Zhao Feng was surprised. Under the heavenly wind god technique's true force, the lightning wind palm had such terrifying power. After all, the foundation of the lightning wind palm was the power of the wind. And the heavenly wind god technique was without a doubt the best. It contained the first 3 moves of the 4 wind stances and the mysterious wind palm. Apart from that, Zhao Feng felt that the power of lightning seemed to be able to counter the silver-striped blood corpse's skills. Brother Zhao, let's team up and kill this brat. Su Ren waved the Jinhua sword in his hand and attacked the silver-striped blood corpses from behind. Zhao Feng circulated his lightning wind palm and attacked the silver-striped blood corpses head-on. Lin Fan and Xiao Sun, who were the weaker ones, didn't dare to get too close. A few ants dared to dream of killing me. The silver-striped blood corpses laughed instead of getting angry, and it waved its claws, creating a purple and blood-red light that pierced tens of yards around it. Ding, ding, pong. Under the combined attacks of the 4, the silver-striped blood corpses had the upper hand. Ding! Lin Fan and Xiao Sun's swords were chipped off and even cracked. Only Su Ren's mortal weapon was undamaged, but it almost fell out of his hands when he clashed with the silver-striped blood corpses. Wah! Under the clash, Su Ren spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhao Feng wasn't much better off. His organs and meridians were slightly injured, and this was under the protection of the Silver Wall technique. Although his attacks were strong and could threaten those at the third sky of the Ascended Realm, and his lightning wind palm could counter the silver-striped blood corpses, he still couldn't face the silver-striped blood corpses head-on. At this moment, apart from Zhao Feng, the other 3 were all heavily injured. After a few exchanges, the silver-striped blood corpses realized that Zhao Feng was hard to deal with, and he countered it in every aspect. So, it turned its attention to Su Ren and the other 2. Ding! Kacha! Lin Fan's long blade was broken by the silver-striped blood corpses, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Xiao Sun was also sent flying by a purple and blood-red light, and a bloody gash appeared on his shoulder. The two's true strength was comparable to those at the second sky of the Ascended Realm, but they were sent flying in the blink of an eye. Zhao Feng's expression was solemn. It was too hard to beat the silver-striped blood corpses today, because Su Ren and the other 2 couldn't be like him. Their speed, offense, and defense had all reached a high level, and they couldn't resist the mental energy of the silver-striped blood corpses. You guys retreat, I'll stall it. Zhao Feng decisively said. Brother Zhao, you be careful too. Dragging their exhausted bodies, the 3 of them retreated out of the cave. They knew that only Zhao Feng could stall the silver-striped blood corpses, and they would only be burdens. Lightning wind palm, burning wind stance. While the 3 were retreating, Zhao Feng used his strongest attack to stop the silver-striped blood corpses from chasing after him. Unexpectedly, the silver-striped blood corpses didn't stop him, and instead, a wicked smile appeared on its lips. It's too late. Today, all of you will die here. Zhao Feng paused, and he felt that something was wrong. Plop! After retreating tens of yards, Xiao Sun's body froze, and he fell onto the ground. Brother Xiao, Su Ren and Lin Fan helped Xiao Sun up and found that there was a purple-black line on the latter's forehead, and his body was stiff. All you have been poisoned by my corpse poison. Even if I don't do anything, you will all die. The silver-striped blood corpses laughed and stopped attacking. Plop! Immediately after, Lin Fan's body froze, and he fell onto the ground. Su Ren's body wobbled, and he barely turned around to look at Zhao Feng before falling onto the ground. Corpse poison? When did we get poisoned? Zhao Feng's heart went cold. When his blood calmed down, he felt a weird cold energy spread throughout his organs. My corpse poison can be resisted during battle due to the boiling of my blood. But once my blood calms down, this energy will spread throughout my body and you will become a living dead within 3 days. The silver-striped blood corpses licked its lips and smiled eerily. Living dead? Zhao Feng couldn't help but shiver as he understood what this meant. At this moment, Su Ren and the other two closed their eyes and fainted. Maybe it was because they were too tired, or maybe it was because the corpse poison was threatening their lives. You're only at the first sky of the Ascended Realm, but your resistance to the corpse poison seems to be stronger than theirs. The silver-striped blood corpses said with surprise. Zhao Feng was still standing there, completely unharmed. Chapter 151. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Zhao Feng stood there calmly, as if nothing had happened. The silver-striped blood corpse waited for a full 10 breaths, but Zhao Feng was still fine and his face was even redder. How is this possible? Shock appeared on the silver-striped blood corpse's face. After sleeping for hundreds of years, even if its poison was weakened, it should still be able to deal with cultivators below the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm. But Zhao Feng was still standing there unharmed. In reality, when the corpse poison spread, the mysterious azure blood in Zhao Feng's body activated and instantly cleared it out with an unstoppable force. As for the rest of the time, Zhao Feng circulated his true force to heal his injuries, allowing his blood to flow more smoothly. This poison is only SOSO. Zhao Feng felt that it was unbelievable. Such a powerful poison was like snow meeting the sun in front of the azure blood. What kind of freak is this kid? The silver-striped blood corpse's eyes narrowed and its expression changed. But it was an old monster that had lived for many years, so it soon smiled. Kid, even if you can counter the poison, how long can you last against me? The battle just now had proved the truth. Even if the 5 of them were unharmed, they still wouldn't be able to win against the silver-striped blood corpse. Then let's try, Zhao Feng murmured to himself, expressionless as he slowly took off the eye patch. Eye patch. The silver-striped blood corpse finally noticed that Zhao Feng had been using his one eye to fight with it. When the eye patch was taken off, an azure eye was revealed, as if there was a bottomless abyss in it. The silver-striped blood corpse's heart skipped a beat as it stared at Zhao Feng's eye, as if it was sucked into a bottomless abyss. In the air, a pair of blood-red eyes collided with a pair of pure green eyes. A formless mental energy spread out in the air. The silver-striped blood corpse felt that the opponent's left eye was like an invisible mental energy blade, emitting an ancient aura that instantly destroyed all of its mental energy. That was to say, even if the silver-striped blood corpses had a certain advantage in terms of mental energy, they had no advantage in front of Zhao Feng. They might even be restrained. Powerful. What a strange power. Zhao Feng was excited. Ever since his left eye had evolved, this was the first time he had shown his power in front of the world. At this moment, his left eye brought him into an even more powerful supersensory interface. In the air, wind, dust, particles, light, heaven's yuan qi, and all kinds of subtle forces were all clearly seen by Zhao Feng's left eye. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's left eye could see through the body of the silver-striped blood corpses and see the internal organs. The sharpness of his left eye could pierce through rocks. With a casual sweep, Zhao Feng discovered that there were many valuable items in the rock walls and the blood pool, including the clothes of the silver-striped blood corpses, the blood ring on their thumb, and a few items hidden in their bags. This feeling seemed to dictate everything in the world. Facing him, the silver-striped blood corpses shuddered. For some reason, he suddenly thought of this Scarlet Moon religion leader from hundreds of years ago, the demonic cultivator who stood at the peak of the continent. Even if he was the protector of the division, he had only met the religion leader once. From then on, he could never forget the pair of eyes that were like the eternal Scarlet Moon. At this moment, a feeling similar to eye contact appeared in his heart. Lightning wind palm. Zhao Feng's figure slowly closed in, The thunderous palm power was more condensed, more precise, and more cunning, aiming for the left chest of the silver, striped blood corpses. How did he know that my wound is here? The silver striped blood corpse's heart shook. The same move, the same true power, on the same person, the power and lethality were completely different. Zhao Feng felt that he had merged with a strange mental energy. The same power and move had a greater lethality, and the threat to the enemy had increased. The place he attacked, the angle, was the place where the silver-striped blood corpses could not move. Pung pung. Zhao Feng and the silver-striped blood corpses clashed once again. But this time, Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm followed a special path and headed for the silver-striped blood corpse's most heavily injured organs. Tung. The two figures quickly separated. Despite the difference in strength, Zhao Feng was still pushed back, his blood boiling. The silver-striped blood corpse's expression changed dramatically, and its body stiffened, as if it had suffered a loss. Burning wind stance. Zhao Feng circulated his heavenly wind god technique, and it was as if his entire body was enveloped in a tornado. It was obviously a wind skill, but it still released a destructive wave of fire. In that instant, the temperature of the surroundings rose, and the air seemed to be compressed to the extreme, exploding with destructive power. The burning wind stance's power was almost on par with the lightning wind palm, but the advantage was that Zhao Feng's comprehension was deeper. Using the heavenly wind god technique, the power reached a terrifying level, enough to threaten many cultivators at the third sky of the Ascended Realm. An even more violent explosion and shockwave swept tens of yards, causing the surrounding rocks to tremble. Zhao Feng and the silver-striped blood corpses separated once again. Brat, fuck off. Leave those brats as a sacrifice, and I'll spare your life. The silver-striped blood corpses took a deep breath, and its expression was ugly, but it finally gave in. After sleeping for hundreds of years, its energy was not even at 20% of its peak. Adding on the fact that it was heavily injured, it didn't have the strength to fight with Zhao Feng. Get out of here. Leave behind a ring in your hand and the bag in your pocket, and I'll spare your life. Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with a sharp azure light, and he didn't back down. Ring? Bag? You're courting death. The silver-striped blood corpses paused for a moment before roaring angrily. The blood on its body seemed to be burning, and a layer of purple flames appeared on its palm. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat as he stared at the purple flames on the silver-striped blood corpse's palm. It was said that when one reached the true spirit realm, they would be able to condense a unique true life flame, which was the essence of the body. Of course, the silver-striped blood corpse's energy was exhausted and it hadn't recovered yet, so it couldn't condense a true life flame. Extinguish. The silver-striped blood corpses snarled as it turned into a blur and waved its claws, sending a purple flame towards Zhao Feng. The terrifying power made Zhao Feng's heart jump, and he felt like he was suffocating. Burning wind stance. Zhao Feng roared as a layer of azure blood surged out from his body and merged into the heavenly wind true force. In that instant, a power that surpassed the limits of his body exploded, and his energy, aura, and soul rose. The heavenly wind true force, which was originally of a higher level, was miraculously raised to another level. The instant the palm was thrust out, one could see the destructive azure flames that destroyed everything in the world. Boom! The silver-striped blood corpse's claw that had turned into purple flames shook violently. After enduring for half a breath, it quickly disappeared. Tung! 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 The silver-striped blood corpses retreated as it stared at the azure ripple around Zhao Feng's body. Ancient bloodline. Boom! The cyan flame suddenly burst out and sent him flying, crashing into the blood-colored rock wall on the opposite side. Immediately after, the blood-colored wall started to shake. Wah! The silver-striped blood corpse's old injuries caused it to spit out blood and sink into the wall as it stared at Zhao Feng in fear. Ancient bloodline. Azure eyes. Which ancient race does this power belong to? when has such a pure ancient bloodline aura appeared in the green flower continent. Ancient bloodline? Zhao Feng realized that the azure ripple was slowly merging into his body. This power is called ancient bloodline. Through his left eye, he could easily control this mysterious power. When he had used this power and merged it with the burning wind stance and heavenly wind god technique, it had exploded with such a terrifying power. Zhao Feng was sure that the attack just now had affected the silver-striped blood corpse's old injuries. Now, as long as he conserved his energy, he would be undefeatable and have the upper hand. Ignorant brat, looks like you don't understand the treasures in your body. Ancient bloodline is one of the inherited powers of the bloodline, and it is one of the most ancient and powerful ones. The silver-striped blood corpses struggled to walk out of the hole in the wall. Bloodline power. Why is it that the sect's natural endowments only mentioned a spirit body, but not a bloodline inheritance? Zhao Feng was confused as he muttered to himself. Bloodline inheritance is extremely precious and ancient. Even the lowest grade of bloodline inheritance is comparable to a supreme spiritual body. Furthermore, before the bloodline awakens, there is no way to measure it. The silver-striped blood corpses mocked. So that's how it is. Zhao Feng's face was cold as he slowly condensed his true force and activated the azure blood, preparing to attack the silver-striped blood corpses. Brat, stop. Even if you use your bloodline power, the most you can do is take me down with you. Sharpness flashed in the silver-striped blood corpse's eyes. As one of the leaders of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, a skinny camel was still bigger than a horse. If Zhao Feng forced him into a corner, he really might do something desperate. Your injuries are serious, and your speed isn't as fast as mine. If this drags on, the chances of you dying will be higher than me. Furthermore, this is the territory of the Broken Moon clan. Zhao Feng's eyes were sharp and calm. The silver-striped blood corpses paused and gritted its teeth. If Zhao Feng really did this, he might really be able to kill it. Brat, what do you want? The silver-striped blood corpses was furious. Leave behind the ring in your hand and the things in the bag. Zhao Feng's left eye was as sharp as a blade, and it seemed to be able to see all the secrets of the silver-striped blood corpses. His left eye could see the silver-striped blood corpses and all the valuable things in the cave. Everything else is fine, but this ring is the token of the protector of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Even if you take it, it won't have much use, and it might even attract death. The silver-striped blood corpses suppressed the anger in its chest. When had it ever been forced to this degree by an ant at the first sky of the Ascended Realm? But thinking about it, the other party had an ancient bloodline and was blessed by the heavens. The other party would definitely be a prodigy in the future. The silver-striped blood corpses comforted itself like this. Zhao Feng thought that before he had the absolute advantage, he shouldn't force the other party too much, so he nodded his head in agreement. Soon, the silver-striped blood corpses took out a bag which contained a few blood pills, a bee-skin scroll, and a broken blood-colored sword. When it handed over these items, the silver-striped blood corpse's face was filled with pain and unwillingness. Chapter 152. Zhao Feng looked at the spoils of war in front of him, blood pills, bee-skin scroll, blood-colored sword, but he didn't immediately let the silver-striped blood corpse go. Being an old monster that had lived for hundreds of years, the silver-striped blood corpse obviously knew what Zhao Feng meant. These blood essence pills are made from the blood essences of hundreds of people above the 7th level of the Consolidated Realm, including the blood essences of 4 people above the Transcending Realm and dozens of precious materials. Eating this pill will help cultivators below the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm increase their cultivation. At the same time, these blood essence pills can cure your fellow disciples of the same sect. The silver-striped blood corpse explained. Zhao Feng saw that there were exactly 4 blood essence pills in his hand. It was hard to imagine that it contained hundreds of lives. Just thinking about it made his heart go cold. Wicked people were indeed cruel and bloody. Why don't you eat these blood essence pills yourself to recover your strength? Zhao Feng had a questioning expression. The silver-striped blood corpse smiled bitterly. These blood essence pills are only effective for those below the third sky of the Ascended Realm. I'm still lacking some blood essence materials to refine the blood jade pills, so I'll give them to you guys. Hearing this, Zhao Feng sniffed the blood essence pills and said in disdain, "The method to refine these blood essence pills isn't very good. Although it can increase your cultivation in a short amount of time, it will leave some hidden injuries in your body." Zhao Feng had a certain level of understanding in pill refining. All he had to do was touch and sniff the blood essence pills, and he could roughly identify them. The silver-striped blood corpse paused. It didn't think that the troublesome brat in front of it would know pill refining and even mock its pill refining methods. Ignorant brat. I don't have any smithing tools, but using blood essence to refine these blood essence pills is already extraordinary. The silver-striped blood corpse almost went crazy. How could it take being mocked by a brat? Furthermore, pill refining was its forte. He could refine pills without a pill furnace. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be in awe as he looked at the silver-striped blood corpses with surprise. This beast skin map is an incomplete map. It's related to a certain mysterious treasure of inheritance. I've studied it for decades, but I haven't made any progress. It doesn't matter if I give it to you. The silver-striped blood corpse continued. Zhao Feng took a look and saw that there was indeed an incomplete map on the beast hide scroll. The way it was drawn was extremely strange, like a maze, making it difficult to figure out the truth. Whoosh! His left eye flashed with a green luster, and the contents of the beast hide scroll were taken away. In the end, only a blood-red broken sword was left. Gently touching the blood-colored broken sword, Zhao Feng's body turned cold and his heart trembled. He felt an endless bloody aura rushing into his soul, almost causing him to lose his mind. At the critical moment, the azure abyss in the dimension of his left eye released an ancient aura that blocked the terrifying aura. What a terrifying blood fiend aura! Zhao Feng couldn't estimate the grade of this broken sword. The silver-striped blood corpse was slightly disappointed. It didn't think that a junior at the first sky of the Ascended Realm, like Zhao Feng, could withstand the aura of a spiritual grade weapon. This is a broken spiritual grade weapon. When it was complete, it was close to the high-grade spiritual grade. Even now, it's still comparable to the low-grade spiritual grade. Those at the true spirit realm can't use it. The silver-striped blood corpse looked at the broken sword unwillingly. Spiritual grade weapon? Close to the high-grade spiritual grade. Zhao Feng's heart shook when he heard the grade of the broken sword. According to what he knew, the Broken Moon clan had a spiritual grade weapon, but it was only a low-grade spiritual grade weapon. The weapons in this world were split into mortal grade, spiritual grade, earth grade, and heaven grade. Spirit grade divine weapons were basically the highest grade in the continent, and they possessed earth-shattering, extraordinary power. Su Ren's Jinhua sword was only a low-grade mortal grade weapon, but it could increase the user's battle power. On the other hand, a spiritual grade weapon's power was hundreds of times stronger. Zhao Feng's Golden Stairs bow could only be considered a half-mortal grade weapon. In the world of clans, mortal grade weapons were the mainstream and middle grade weapons were extremely rare. All of them had been around for hundreds of years, and they were priceless. Unfortunately, it's a spiritual grade weapon. Zhao Feng felt slightly regretful, but he didn't feel any greed or joy. Spiritual grade weapons were too much for him, and it could be said that they were useless. Even if he could forcefully use a spiritual grade weapon, it would instantly suck all his energy. Furthermore, this broken sword was extremely weird, and if he wasn't careful, it could backfire on his consciousness. If it was possible, Zhao Feng would rather have a complete middle-grade mortal grade weapon, or even a low-grade mortal grade weapon. After arranging the spoils of war, Zhao Feng left with the silver-striped blood corpse. When the silver-striped blood corpse passed by the three of them, Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with a sharp green light, as if it could see through everything in the world. The silver-striped blood corpse thought to itself that Lin Fan's bloodline was terrifying and any movement it made would be sensed. Its old injuries had worsened and it was extremely weak, but it was afraid that Zhao Feng would continue pestering it, so it didn't dare to do anything. Zhao Feng stared at the silver, striped blood corpse until it reached the exit of the cave. "Brat, the formation outside was broken by you?" The silver-striped blood corpse looked at the broken formation and asked. "That's right. What else do you have to say?" Facing the silver-striped blood corpse, Zhao Feng felt a lot of pressure and didn't dare to let his guard down. After all, the silver-striped blood corpse was a monster that had lived for hundreds of years and was the protector of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. At its peak, it could kill him with a flick of its finger. "Brat, with your bloodline and aptitude, staying in a small sect is a complete waste of God's gifts. If you're interested, I'm willing to accept you into the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. I believe that the demonic religion will rise again soon and sweep across the continent." "Don't talk." Zhao Feng cut off the silver-striped blood corpse's words. The silver-striped blood corpse wasn't surprised, and it turned into a blood-red blur that merged into the night. "Brat's surname Zhao. I'll remember you." Before it left, a sinister laughter resounded throughout the cave. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly, but he knew that the silver-striped blood corpse would find a hidden place to rest and wouldn't dare to come out for a while. After all, this was the territory of the Broken Moon clan. Once he was found, he would be hunted down by the 13 clans. Zhao Feng returned to the depths of the cave and arrived in front of the three. The three of them had fought many battles and were exhausted. Adding on the corpse poison, they had all fainted. Zhao Feng helped them up and leaned against the wall. "Brother Zhao, where did the blood corpse go?" Lin Fan was the first to wake up. At this time, Zhao Feng had already put on his eye patch, and he still had the azure hair in one eye. The blood corpse's old injuries acted up during the battle, and it ran away. Zhao Feng gave a simple summary of what happened afterwards. Lin Fan looked at him meaningfully and didn't ask any more questions. He remembered that before he fainted, he saw an azure-haired youth taking off his eye patch and facing the silver-striped blood corpse. Even when he fainted, he could feel the commotion outside. Looking at the blood pond, there were obvious signs of an intense battle. Lin Fan understood that the battle after he fainted wasn't as simple as he thought. Not long later, Xiao Sun and Su Rin also woke up. The speed of waking up was related to one's willpower, and Lin Fan was the strongest of the three. After waking up, their bodies were still cold and weak as the corpse poison spread deeper and deeper. They tried to use the antidote pills of the clan, but there was no effect. If they couldn't find a way to detoxify the poison within 3 days, they would become zombie-like living dead, or even real zombies. "I'm afraid it's too late to ask the clan for help. It'll take at least a few days to return to the Sky Moon Mountain. Furthermore, we're poisoned and can't move." The three fell into endless despair and fear. "Brother Zhao, if we can't find the antidote within 3 days, you will kill us." Lin Fan gritted his teeth. Once the corpse poison seeped into their bones, they would become zombies and lose their consciousness. "Brother Zhao, why aren't you poisoned?" Su Rin asked confusedly. "Maybe it's because my body is special." Zhao Feng took out 3 blood essence pills and gave them to the three. "This is..." Lin Fan and the other 2 took the blood essence pills hesitantly. "This is what the blood corpse protector dropped when he ran away. I've analyzed it, and it can activate the meridians and even increase cultivation in a short period of time." Zhao Feng explained. Hearing this, Su Rin and Xiao Sun were hesitant. How could they casually use the pills left behind by the blood corpse protector? "I believe in Brother Zhao. Since we're going to die anyway, there's no harm in trying." Lin Fan swallowed a blood essence pill without hesitation. Moments later, a surge of pure blood energy came from Lin Fan's body. This blood essence pill is indeed effective. Not only did it cure the corpse poison, it also increased my body's functions and true force. Lin Fan said with a face of joy. Su Rin and Xiao Sun were both shocked and immediately took the blood essence pill, which was indeed able to cure the corpse poison. This blood essence pill is probably a real spiritual pill. It's much stronger than the marrow cleansing pill. Zhao Feng silently swallowed the last blood essence pill. He understood the effects of the blood essence pill. Although it could increase cultivation in a short period of time, it had a negative effect on the body. Furthermore, the silver-striped blood corpses didn't have a cauldron, and the quality of the pill was not good either. Therefore, Zhao Feng generously gave the 3 blood essence pills to cure the corpse poison. Su Ren and the others were extremely grateful towards Zhao Feng. Even though they had some conflicts in the past, they had all forgotten about it. If it wasn't for Zhao Feng, they would have died many times over. Half a day later, the group had all cured the corpse poison, and the blood essence pill had greatly increased their body's functions. Zhao Feng estimated that he would be able to break through to the second sky of the Ascended Realm in a few days. The difficulty of this mission will probably be increased to 4. Adding on the fact that we found the Scarlet Moon demonic religion stronghold, we've done a great job, Xiao Sun said excitedly, as if he could foresee the clan's rewards. The group laughed out loud, but they didn't feel much sympathy for Huang Yun's death. If we want to complete the mission, it's best if we can capture Xing Chun, Lin Fan suggested. That's easy. Zhao Feng was extremely confident. He knew that Xing Chun wouldn't be able to run far due to his injuries. After saying this, he quickly left the cave. Half an hour later, Zhao Feng carried the dying Xing Chun back to the cave. This scene had Lin Fan and the other 2 gaping mouths agape. That was way too fast. They couldn't imagine Zhao Feng's tracking method. In reality, when Zhao Feng had first entered the Xing family, he had already memorized the entire layout of the village. He followed Xing Chen's footsteps and used his left eye to see all the traces. It was more effective than any other method of tracking. Chapter 153. Xing Chun was captured alive, and the mission was finally over after so many twists and turns. Next, they started to interrogate Xing Chun. Xing Chen's face was as white as paper, and he was extremely weak. He couldn't hide the fear in his eyes as he looked at Zhao Feng. After escaping from the Scarlet Moon demonic cave, Xing Chun used his familiarity with the terrain to find a place to recover. Xing Chun was very confident that apart from himself, no one else knew where he was hiding. Moreover, he had set up traps and mechanisms in his hiding place to ensure that nothing would go wrong. Even if someone chased after him, he would be able to predict in advance. However, all these defensive measures were useless before the evil and cold green-haired young man. Zhao Feng didn't trigger any of the traps, and he silently entered the hiding place. Xing Chun sensed danger, and he immediately found Zhao Feng. With his cultivation at the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm, it should be easy for him to deal with a junior at the 1st sky of the Ascended Realm. But what he didn't expect was that in front of the azure-haired youth, he was captured alive in just a few moves. Thinking about how he had been captured alive by a youth at the 1st sky of the Ascended Realm, he was still filled with shock and fear. Under their questioning, Xing Chun told them everything he knew and everything that had happened. It all happened a few months ago. At that time, the Xing family was secluded from the world, and Xing Chun was still at the 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm, unable to break through. One day, Xing Chun was chasing after a peak-tier deadly beast, and he accidentally found the illusion array of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion's hideout. Xing Chun knew a thing or two about arrays, so he spent a lot of effort to enter the cave through the flaw in the array. I was filled with excitement when I entered the cave, but I met the protector of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion's Blood Corpse chapter. At that time, the Blood Corpse protector was extremely weak and had just woken up, so he wasn't my match. But this person was extremely cunning, and he used treasures and secrets to trick me. Speaking up to here, Xing Chun let out a long sigh, and his face was filled with regret. Zhao Feng could guess the rest of the story. Xing Chun was accidentally poisoned by the corpse poison and was threatened by the Blood Corpse protector. From then on, Xing Chun could only listen to the orders of the Blood Corpse protector. On one hand, it was to protect himself, and on the other hand, it was to increase his cultivation. In just a few months, Xing Chun had broken through his bottleneck and reached the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm. He admired the Blood Corpse protector even more and wanted to join the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Where did the plague in the villa come from? What is its purpose? Serene questioned. Xing Chen's face was bitter. The plague was spread according to Protector's wishes. The goal was to create the Blood Essence Pill and the Blood Jade Pill to attract other Ascended Realm cultivators from the Cloud Country. According to the plan, if I can capture all of you in one fell swoop, the fusion of the Blood Jade Pill will be successful. At that time, Protector's injuries will heal a bit, and his strength will rise to the fifth sky of the Ascended Realm. Then, he will leave the cave and search for other ruins. After learning the truth, the four of them felt a chill in their hearts and broke out in cold sweat. The Xing family's mission turned out to be a terrifying bait aimed at the disciples of the clan. At the end, the difficulty of this mission was at least rank 4, and even Yuan Ji and Quan Shun didn't expect it. Zhao Feng analyzed that they had hidden the information and the danger of this mission. Before them, there were already a few Ascended Realm cultivators who had mysteriously disappeared. The truth was that they had been used to create the Blood Essence Pill. The danger of this mission was much higher than they had imagined. It was at least a rank 3 mission. Yuan Ji and Quan Shun had hidden this information and used their lackey, Huang Yun, to purposely put Su Run and Xiao Sun, who had conflicts with Zhao Feng, into the same group. It could be imagined that Huang Yun, Su Run, and Xiao Sun would definitely try to take revenge on Zhao Feng or hit him when he was down. Amongst them, Huang Yun directly listened to core disciple Yuan Ji, and his aim was to find a chance to kill Zhao Feng. Unfortunately, Lin Fan was implicated and was also assigned to a mission. The people present weren't idiots, and after understanding the situation, the truth started to surface. Fortunately, Zhao Feng was able to control the situation and avoid the infighting. In the end, he was able to lead the group and achieve great merits. Lin Fan, Xiao Sun, quickly returned to the Sky Moon Mountain and sent a message to the upper echelons of the clan. Brother Zhao and I will temporarily guard the cave and keep the captives. Vice Leader Su Run said. He had discussed this with Zhao Feng before. After Huang Yun's death, Zhao Feng became the core of the group. While everyone was grateful towards him, they were also willing to serve him. Because Lin Fan and Xiao Sun's strength was relatively low, they were sent back to the Broken Moon clan. Zhao Feng and Su Run were stronger, so they stayed behind to guard the Scarlet Moon demonic religion's stronghold. In this period of time, Zhao Feng and Su Run had searched the Scarlet Moon demonic religion's cave and found some primal crystal stones and treasures. Zhao Feng's left I could see through walls, and it was extremely sensitive to the heaven-earth Yuan Qi, so he found many items. We found a total of 23 low-grade primal crystal stones. There are 98 treasures and over 100 small pieces of a mortal weapon. Zhao Feng and Su Rin sorted out the spoils of war. These spoils of war were indeed good. These primal crystal stones were all low-grade, and each one was worth 100 substandard primal crystal stones. 23 primal crystal stones were worth 2,300 substandard primal crystal stones. Just these alone far exceeded the original reward of primordial crystal stones. The other treasures and mortal weapon pieces were also worth hundreds of primal crystal stones, which was at least 10,000 substandard primal crystal stones. Haha, Brother Zhao, we've struck it rich this time. Su Run was overjoyed. These spoils of war were a huge fortune for the group of 4. One had to know that normal inner disciples only received 10 substandard primal crystal stones a month. According to the rules, the spoils of war would be split amongst the group based on their strength or contribution. Even if it was split equally, Zhao Feng estimated that he would receive at least 30 low-grade primal crystal stones. These were all high-grade primal crystal stones, and they contained the essence of heaven and earth, which was extremely beneficial to cultivation. Zhao Feng wasn't worried about these spoils of war. What he felt troublesome about was the broken spiritual grade blood-colored sword. The value of a spirit-grade divine weapon was immeasurable. In some sects, it was a treasure that guarded their sect. The broken blood-colored sword was useless in his hands, and it was a hot potato. Zhao Feng was thinking about how to get the most out of this broken blood-colored sword. Several days later, the two returned to the clan and reported the news of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion to the upper echelons. This news shook the Broken Moon clan. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion was a force that had swept across the continent for hundreds of years, and its name was known throughout the clan world. The Broken Moon clan was only a small clan, and it was as small as an ant in front of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. How could they not be shocked to find a small stronghold of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion in the Broken Moon clan's territory? The same day they received the news, several elders of the Broken Moon clan led a group of elite disciples towards the Xing family. Zhao Feng and Su Run guarded the Scarlet Moon demonic cave for 4 to 5 days, and nothing happened. On this night, the Broken Moon clan's group arrived. From far away, Zhao Feng felt 3 powerful waves of heaven-earth yuan qi descend upon the Scarlet Moon demonic cave. "Greetings, Elder." Zhao Feng and Su Run immediately bowed. The 3 were all at the true spirit realm. The one in the middle was an elder in pine robes who seemed to be a deity. His body was surrounded by a layer of azure light that was gentle and bright, but soon disappeared. Of the 3 at the true spirit realm, this person's aura was the strongest. Seeing this person, Su Ren's heart shook. First Elder. First Elder had the highest status amongst the clan elders. In other words, he was the first elder. In the Broken Moon clan, First Elder status was on the same level as the clan master. On the left of the Great Elder was a man in a golden robe. His entire body was surrounded by a layer of golden light. This person was very familiar to Zhao Feng, and he soon remembered that it was the golden-robed Elder Shui who had appeared when he had just entered the clan. This golden-robed Elder Shui was the master of Sun Yuanhao, who had a changeable body. On the right was a slender and handsome man dressed in a spotless white robe. Seeing this handsome white-robed elder, Zhao Feng's left eye twitched. The youngest elder at the true spirit realm of the Broken Moon clan was called out. "Hiya, Master." Zhao Feng took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He had thought that he would meet Haiyan Master one day, but he didn't think it would be so early. First Elder, Elder Shui, and Haiyan Master. The 3 great elders led the elite troops straight into the Scarlet Moon Cave. In the crowd, Zhao Feng saw some familiar figures such as Yuan Ji and Quan Shun. "Master." Yuan Ji and Quan Shun came to Haiyan Master's side. The disciples of the clan controlled the Scarlet Moon demonic cave and started a search inside and out. Their target was the Blood Corpse Protector. Xing Chan was brought forward and faced the questioning of the 3 at the true spirit realm in fear. In front of experts at the true spirit realm, Xing Chan was almost unable to lie and answered everything truthfully. Zhao Feng, Su Run, Xiao Sun, and Lin Fan were the participants of the mission and the excavators of the Scarlet Moon demonic cave. Amongst them, Zhao Feng was one of the most important ones. Firstly, Zhao Feng was the one who broke the illusion array at the entrance. Secondly, Zhao Feng was the only one who saw the silver-striped blood corpses escape. Thirdly, he was the only one who experienced the entire mission. This meant that what others saw, Zhao Feng saw. What others didn't see, he saw. Especially at the end, when everyone else fainted and only Zhao Feng was left to fight against the silver-striped blood corpses. Zhao Feng's statement was that the silver-striped blood corpse's old injuries acted up at the critical moment, and he was able to defeat it. "Zhao Feng, your cultivation is the lowest in the group, so why were you able to last until the end? Why were you the only one who could block the corpse poison? Why did you have the most credit and control the situation? Furthermore, after the battle, everyone was heavily injured, and only you were lightly injured." Yuan Ji, who was standing behind Haiyan Master, snickered coldly as he stepped out and released a powerful mental energy pressure that was like a mountain. As soon as he said this, the eyes of the 3 elders flashed. That's right. There were many suspicious points about Zhao Feng. Under everyone's gazes, Zhao Feng was very calm and said, "The reason is simple." Chapter 154. The reason is simple. Under the questioning of core disciple Yuan Ji and the scrutiny of the three elders, Zhao Feng's tone was calm and relaxed. Everyone was slightly surprised. Of the three elders, first elder and the gold-robed elder, Shui couldn't help but reveal a sliver of interest. After so many years, there weren't many low-level disciples that could remain calm in front of elders at the true spirit realm. The eyes of the three elders were like torches, bringing with them a heavy pressure. It was as if all eyes in front of them were like snow under the sun. Zhao Feng, there are many suspicious points about you. If you hide anything, you won't be able to escape our eyes. Hai Yun Master, who was dressed in white, had a cold gaze and an expressionless face, but he gave off a powerful aura. Indeed, there were many suspicious points about Zhao Feng. He was only at the first sky of the Ascended Realm, but he had it the easiest in the mission, and he was the one that defeated the Blood Corpse Protector. Only he had gone through the entire mission, and he hadn't missed a single detail. At this moment in time, the cave was dead silent, as if the air had been frozen by the auras of the three true spirit realm. Everyone was waiting for Zhao Feng's answer. Quan Chun, who was behind Hai Yun Master, revealed a gloating expression. Zhao Feng came from a lowly background, and under the questioning of the elders and core disciples, the slightest mistake could result in his death. Why was I the only one that lasted till the end? Why was I the only one that could resist the corpse poison? Why was I the one that controlled the situation the most? Why was I the only one that had the least injuries? There's only one answer. Zhao Feng's voice was like rolling steel balls, full of confidence and power. Everyone paused and couldn't keep up with his tempo. Lin Fan and the rest of them felt as though they were unable to breathe. Because in the group, I'm the strongest. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed with sharpness as he used the simplest and most direct method to reply. What was the reason? Because I'm the strongest. Why was I the one that lasted till the end? Because I'm the strongest. Why was I the only one that could resist the corpse poison? Because I'm the strongest. All the problems could be easily solved with only 5 words. Because I am the strongest. Zhao Feng knew very well that even if he could answer and explain these doubts, the other party would definitely come up with countless tricky questions on this basis. Under the scrutiny of the 3 true spirit elders, the slightest carelessness would expose his doubts and even the secret of his left eye. Because I am the strongest. When Zhao Feng gave such a concise answer, everyone present was slightly shocked. Su Run, Lin Fan, and Xiao Sun all had complicated expressions on their faces. Thinking about Zhao Feng's performance during the mission, they couldn't refute him at all. Instead, the more they thought about it, the more convinced they became. From the beginning to the end, Zhao Feng had been able to control the situation, not only because he was calm and clear-headed, but also because of his formidable strength. Strength was the foundation of the world of sections. Strength could represent everything. That was why Zhao Feng gave such an answer. Shameless boasting. Hai Yin Master snorted. Ha! Yuan Ji and Quan Chun looked at each other and started to laugh. First Elder and Elder Shui had weird expressions on their faces. They didn't think that Zhao Feng would answer in such a concise way. From the expressions of Lin Fan, Xiao Sun, and Xing Chun, it wasn't hard for First Elder to guess that this might be the truth. If Zhao Feng really was the strongest in the team, then all these suspicions would vanish like a puff of smoke. At this moment, the 3 elders looked at each other and exchanged glances. At their level, they could communicate with each other through their spiritual sense. Finally, it was Quan Chun who stood out from the group and volunteered. Zhao Feng, I heard that you stalled the Protector Blood Corpse for a while. Is this true? Quan Chun said with a mischievous expression. That's right. Zhao Feng knew that since Quan Chun was willing to volunteer, it meant that he had the approval of the 3 elders. Now it was time to test his true strength. How strong was the Protector Blood Corpse? Quan Chun continued. Close to the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, but considering that he was heavily injured and his limbs were stiff, he was at least at the peak 3rd sky. Zhao Feng said calmly. No one had any objections to his analysis. Normally, a body that had been refined by corpses would increase in strength, offense, and speed, but it would be less agile. After all, there was no perfect life form and no perfect skill. But in reality, Zhao Feng's evaluation of the Protector Blood Corpse had been lowered a little. This was because the Protector Blood Corpse could release a mysterious poison that no one under the fourth sky of the Ascended Realm could block. And at the last moment, the Protector Blood Corpse's strength had exceeded the third sky. Peak third sky? Haha, perfect. My cultivation is at the peak third sky of the Ascended Realm. Since you were able to stall the Protector Blood Corpse for a while, then as long as you can last 10 moves against me, we'll all acknowledge your strength. Quan Chen's eyes twinkled. From his words, one could tell that he was extremely confident. Back then, he had stepped on all the experts of the Guanjuan Palace, and he had even defeated Zhao Feng's master, Lord Guanjuan, right in front of him. Now that he was facing a disciple that had lost to him, he didn't put him in his eyes at all. Can your words represent everyone? Can you represent the elders? Zhao Feng snickered coldly, as if he couldn't be bothered to attack. Yes, Haiyan Master's voice was filled with coldness. First Elder and Elder Shui both nodded their heads. It was obvious that they all agreed on this result. Quan Chen's cultivation was at the peak third sky of the Ascended Realm, and his strength was on par with the Protector Blood Corpse, so he could test Zhao Feng's strength. Good, then let's begin. Zhao Feng's figure flickered as he arrived next to the blood pond and said, "This is where I fought with the blood zombies." Even the terrain was the same as before, which made it more suitable for the situation. Everyone nodded their heads, and they opened up a space. At this moment, more and more people came to watch. This included Old Zhang of the Clan Mission Division, who looked worriedly at Zhao Feng. "Brother Zhao, let the first move begin." As soon as Quan Chen said this, he waved his hand, and a few feet long streak of light flashed toward Zhao Feng. The cold moonlight mark was like an icy blade in the winter, and before the attack even arrived, a bone-chilling coldness could be felt. Su Ren and the other two, who were further away, all felt the coldness. Junior brother Quan Chen is using the mortal high-class skill, Frost Moon Manual. This cold moonlight mark isn't something I can block. Su Ren's breathing quickened, as if he was in Zhao Feng's shoes. Cold Moon Manual. High-class mortal skill. Quan Chen had used his strongest attack right from the start, and those under the third sky of the Ascended Realm couldn't block it. Illusion Fish Transformation. Zhao Feng was like an illusion fish, and his eyes seemed to be able to see the changes of a fish. It felt like it was right in front of him, but in reality, it was far away. The moment he moved, the eyes of the three elders flashed. Shua. The cold moonlight mark missed Zhao Feng by a foot and missed. On the other hand, Zhao Feng seemed to be standing on the same spot. What a profound movement skill! Everyone exclaimed, and some couldn't help but cheer. This brat's understanding of the illusion fish picture is similar to the refraction of light in water. There's a difference between the distance between the naked eye and the actual distance. Old Zhang's face was filled with shock. Only he knew where Zhao Feng's movement skill came from. Shua! Shua! Quan Chen waved his hand, and a few streaks of cold moonlight marks flew toward Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's figure was as agile as a fish, and he used his movement skill to the maximum, hiding the heavenly wind true force within his body. The first three moves were all easily dodged by Zhao Feng. How is this possible? Shock appeared on Quan Chen's face. He couldn't believe that an ant who was only at the eighth sky of the Consolidated Realm a few months ago had grown to the point where he could fight with him. Don't get cocky. I only used 60% of my strength just then. As soon as Quan Chen finished his words, his figure flashed, and he seemed to turn into moonlight as he closed in on Zhao Feng with moonlight ripples on his palm. Heavenly Wind Manual, Breaking Wind Palm. Zhao Feng's movement skill was still as agile as a fish, but he used the moves from the Heavenly Wind Chi technique. The Heavenly Wind Chi technique was only the simplified version of the Heavenly Wind God technique, and when Zhao Feng used it, it was comparable to Quan Chen's high-class Mortal Cold Moon Manual. Zhao Feng was like a fish swimming through the gaps between the corals as he used the Heavenly Wind Chi technique's true force and moves to easily deal with the remaining power. For moves, 5 moves, 6 moves. Soon, half of the 10 moves had passed. Zhao Feng's movement skill and true force became smoother and sharper, and his aura had reached the peak of the first sky. This kid's movement skill is weird. It seems like there's a change in the array. First Elder's eyebrows furrowed as he couldn't tell where Zhao Feng's movement skill came from. First Elder. Old Zhang respectfully came in front of First Elder and whispered a few words. So that's how it is. This kid has such comprehension to be able to integrate arrays into his martial arts. First Elder nodded his head and sent a message through his spiritual sense. Don't worry, Martial Nephew Zhang. I will handle this fairly and won't be biased towards anyone. Hearing First Elder's words, Old Zhang relaxed and thought to himself, Zhao Feng, this is as far as I can help you. Let's see if you can continue to create miracles. Zhao Feng, your movement skill is indeed profound, but according to what I know, although the blood corpse's strength is limited, it's at least at the true spirit realm. How can it be tricked by your movement skill? Haiyan Master suddenly interrupted. According to the original plan, Zhao Feng only needed to last 10 moves against Quan Chen. Zhao Feng could choose to fight head-on, or he could choose to go around in circles. And now, Haiyan Master seemed to want Zhao Feng to clash head-on with him, making things difficult for him. Although the blood corpse could see through Zhao Feng's movement skill, its agility was limited and it couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng. First Elder's eyebrows furrowed as a weird expression appeared on his face. Why did Haiyan Master want to make things difficult for Zhao Feng? At this moment, Zhao Feng and Quan Chen had exchanged 7 moves, and there were only 3 left. As you wish, First Elder. Zhao Feng's voice was emotionless as he circulated his heavenly wind true force to the maximum. Lightning Wind Palm. The thunderous palm energy exploded with great momentum. Boom! Zhao Feng successfully blocked Quan Chen's attack, and the two retreated. This scene shocked everyone in the field. Good chance. I'm about to break through. Zhao Feng felt the true force in his body surging and breaking through a bottleneck. The remaining energy from the blood essence pill a few days ago had been digested. Chapter 155. It was already the 8th move of the 10 moves. The last 2 moves. Many of the spectators held their breaths as they watched with rapt attention. Su Ren and the other 2 were shocked. Although they had seen Zhao Feng's strength in the mission, they didn't expect him to be this strong. Haiyan Master's face turned solemn for the first time. Blade of the Waning Moon. Quan Chen took a deep breath as his eyes glowed. He gathered his true force to the maximum and formed a crescent moon sickle in his hand. Shua! In a split second, the air trembled violently. The moon chi scythe was cold and sharp, like a blade of death, slashing at all living beings in its path. This move was Quan Chen's trump card. Usually, he would only use this move when he was in the middle of a mission, facing someone of the same level as him. Good! Zhao Feng exclaimed as he pushed his lightning wind palm to the maximum. At this point in time, the wind blew and thunder boomed. Lightning wind annihilation. Zhao Feng thrust out a palm like lightning. Thunder and wind howled together, twisting and twisting together. Lightning flashed within the palm of wind, creating a destructive power. Boom! An explosive sound rang out between the 2 of them. This time, Zhao Feng's true force had almost reached the limit of 1 rank, and the power of his lightning wind palm was even stronger. Tung! Zhao Feng's figure retreated several steps, while Quan Chen's blade of cold moon, which had been damaged in half, quickly reformed. It seemed that Quan Chen had the upper hand since his cultivation was 2 ranks higher than Quan Chen's, and he was using a high-class mortal skill. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. The lightning wind palm's power wasn't any weaker than a high-class mortal skill, but his cultivation was limited and he could only use the heavenly wind technique. The Heavenly Wind Chi Manual was the simplified version of the Heavenly Wind God Manual that he mainly cultivated. Even though he had mastered it to perfection and had a high realm, its power was still slightly inferior. But even so, Zhao Feng's performance shocked everyone. The 3 elders looked at each other in dismay. It was truly unimaginable for someone to challenge someone 2 ranks higher than them. The lightning wind palm is truly worthy of being a semi-forbidden cultivation technique. This kid has even cultivated it to the 3rd level. Such comprehension is truly shocking. Unfortunately, Elder Shui said with slight regret. Thunderwind Palm? He's the kid who went to the hollow building? The great elder showed a strange expression and unconsciously snorted coldly. Last time at the hollow building, Zhao Feng's attitude was so arrogant that he ignored his kind advice and stubbornly chose the lightning wind palm. But thinking about it, no one who practiced the lightning wind palm was normal, so the first elder didn't take it to heart. There was only one move left. Some of the surrounding disciples exclaimed. The two of them stood facing each other from afar. Quan Chun groaned in his heart. Only now did he realize that the promise of 10 moves was a bit too much, but he had no way out. Half Moon Blade. Quan Chun's expression became fierce as the waning moon blade on his arm suddenly expanded and the veins on his body bulged under the surge of true force. In an instant, the power of the waning moon blade doubled. Zhao Feng also felt a great sense of danger. The power of the Half Moon Blade had exceeded his limit unless he used his bloodline power. Not good. If this move isn't handled properly, someone might die. Elder Shui's expression changed as he circulated his qi of true spirit. Elder Shui, when Zhao Feng faced the blood corpse, it was a life and death battle. It's probably several times more dangerous than this. Hai Yin Master's clear voice sounded in Elder Shui's mind. Elder Shui paused slightly and looked at the youngest elder of the Broken Moon clan in the past 1,000 years. In that short moment of hesitation, the confrontation on the field was about to begin. Even Elder Shui didn't have time to make a move. First Elder's eyes squinted, but he didn't have any intentions of making a move. Under the pressure, Zhao Feng circulated his true force to the maximum, and his speed became faster and faster. His body glowed with a powerful life force, squeezing out a great deal of potential. Boom! Zhao Feng's body trembled as his body erupted with limitless potential. It was as if he had undergone a qualitative transformation, as if he had been strengthened by bloodline energy. He had successfully broken through to the 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm. The 7th sky of the Ascended Realm meant that every sky of the Ascended Realm would increase one strength. After 7th sky of the Ascended Realm, one would reach the true spirit level. Wind, Lightning, Raging Dragon. Zhao Feng roared as he used a move from Lightning Wind Palm that was higher level than him. Now that he had broken through to the 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm, his body released a large amount of potential. But even then, he was barely able to use it because that move required one to be at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm. Roar! The instant Zhao Feng's palm shot out, the azure wind turned into a snake dragon and lightning crackled. It was as if a raging dragon was trying to destroy everything in its path. Boom! The walls of the mountain shook and the rocks on the ground fell. This was the stronghold of the Scarlet Moon religion. If it was a normal area, a hole the size of a house would have been created. At that moment, the Half Moon Blade and the Wind, Lightning, Raging Dragon clashed. Half a breath later, the Half Moon Blade broke into pieces, and the Wind, Lightning, Raging Dragon broke into pieces. The two figures were pushed back dozens of yards due to the terrifying recoil. The recoil formed a chaotic whirlwind that was about to sweep across the entire area. It was enough to rip apart normal cultivators at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm. Not good. Quan Chin panicked, but Zhao Feng's expression didn't change, and he didn't make a move. Suppress. Elder Shui opened his mouth, and an invisible force of true spirit appeared in the air, causing the whirlwind below to instantly collapse. The remaining power of the true power ripples on the stage also shattered into pieces, disappearing into thin air. The elder at the true spirit realm opened his mouth, and a terrifying recoil was released. This made Zhao Feng feel the true power of the true spirit realm. The opponent had broken through to the true spirit realm. The two who fought, Zhao Feng and Quan Chun, were both slightly injured, but it wasn't fatal. Quan Chin's expression was dark and unwilling. He had even stepped on Lord Guanjuan, but he had lost to the opponent's disciple time and time again. The first few times, he had suppressed Quan Shun indirectly, so it was fine if he failed. But this time, he had directly used the half-moon blade, but it didn't do anything to the opponent. What made Quan Shun depressed was that under his pressure, the opponent had broken through to the second sky of the Ascended Realm. There were 7 sky of the Ascended Realm, and every single one of them was like a chasm. Many people, like Lord Guanjuan, would be stuck at a bottleneck. But in life and death situations, the pressure would become the motivation to break through. 10 moves. Thanks for letting me win. Zhao Feng knew when to stop. Within 10 moves, he could indeed fight against Quan Shun, but the latter's cultivation was high and his true force was deep. If he didn't use his other hidden cards, the situation wouldn't be good. After Quan Shen's test, the 3 elders exchanged their opinions. Finally, First Elder spoke. Zhao Feng, you're indeed the strongest in the group. Furthermore, you've been smart and calm during the mission, reducing the number of casualties. You're worthy of praise. Following that, the 3 elders would promise rewards to the participants. The rewards were split into 2 parts. The first was the mission, and the second was to report back to the clan after discovering the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. In terms of the mission, the danger level had been raised to 4. Therefore, the group's reward had increased from 100 substandard primal crystal stones and 100 contribution points to 2,000 substandard primal crystal stones and 2,000 contribution points. Because of Zhao Feng's outstanding performance, he was rewarded with an extra 1,000 contribution points. This meant that Zhao Feng would receive 500 substandard primal crystal stones, giving him a total of 1,500 contribution points. Contribution points were very useful in the clan. They could be exchanged for skills, weapons, spiritual pills, or bought at a discount. With enough points, one could even make some requests to the sect, such as asking an elder to guide one's cultivation. All in all, contribution points were almost omnipotent in the clan. With so many primal crystal stones and contribution points, our strength will increase greatly. Su Ren and the other 2 were extremely excited. Apart from this, the spoils of war in the Scarlet Moon Demonic Cave were even better, and they could deal with them themselves. On Zhao Feng's side, Quan Shun and Yuanji's expressions were extremely dark. Zhao Feng had obtained so many primal crystal stones in one mission, and his contribution points had reached 1,500. Even some core disciples were envious of him. Zhao Feng, I can't believe that Su Ran has such a disciple. Although his talent isn't high, his potential isn't small. Haiyan Master's eyes flashed coldly as he glanced at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's senses were extremely sensitive, and he could faintly feel the coldness and hostility from the true spirit realm expert. But now, Haiyan Master didn't have any killing intent towards him, but he was definitely on guard against him. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled, and he soon made a decision. 3 elders. This lowly one has something else to report. Zhao Feng suddenly bowed towards the 3 elders. More accurately speaking, he looked straight at First Elder. Whether it was because of his identity or instinct, he was sure that First Elder was the strongest amongst the 3. Oh, First Elder signaled for him to continue. Zhao Feng didn't say anything and only took out a bag. Opening the bag, 2 items appeared: the bee skin map and the broken blood-colored sword. These are the items dropped by the Protector Blood Corpse when I was chasing him. I will now present them to elders. Zhao Feng solemnly handed over the 2 items. Just by looking at them, one could tell that they weren't normal items, especially the broken blood-colored sword, which gave off a faint aura of spirituality which caused the expressions of the 3 elders to change. Spiritual grade weapon. The breathing and heartbeats of the 3 elders quickened. The first elder reached out his hand to touch the blood-colored broken sword. As soon as his consciousness came into contact with it, he felt a terrifying killing intent surging toward him. His eyebrows furrowed as he released a surge of true force from his palm, which suppressed the aura from the broken blood-colored sword. This is probably the famous Blood Moon devouring spirit sword from hundreds of years ago. It's close to the high-tier spiritual grade. Even now, It's comparable to the low-tier spiritual grade. First, Elder murmured, Blood Moon devouring spirit sword. Elder Shui and Hai Yun Master's eyes were both moved and filled with yearning. Even they didn't possess a true spirit rank divine weapon. As for this beast skin map, it should be one of the 4 great inheritances, the Scarlet Moon inheritance. This map came from the invincible Scarlet Moon religion patriarch several hundred years ago. There are a total of 108 copies, and they've been spread across the world. Many people have been studying them for several hundred years. First Elder's voice was low and deep. Scarlet Moon inheritance. The expressions of the 2 elders changed once more. At their level, they obviously knew what the Scarlet Moon inheritance represented. Chapter 156. Hundreds of years ago, a powerful superpower rose in the hands of a legendary figure. In just a few decades, it swept through the entire continent. At the height of its glory, it had almost swept across the continent and unified the world. The 10 most powerful sects on the continent had to join forces to resist it. That era belonged to the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, a legendary figure who could cover the sky with one hand, the Scarlet Moon Patriarch. Even though the Scarlet Moon religion's patriarch was the leader of the evil sect, the miracles he had created and the heaven and earth almighty cultivators of that era both respected and feared him. In later generations, there were still many people who worshipped and admired that generation's supreme devil sect. Some fanatical fans described him as unprecedented and unsurpassable. Perhaps this was a bit of an exaggeration, but the Scarlet Moon religion's patriarch's achievement that shocked the past and present was unparalleled in the past 10,000 years. This was widely acknowledged. Especially in the hearts of some evil cultivators, the Scarlet Moon sect master's position was no different from that of a god. Of course, the birth of any peerless expert wasn't something that could be achieved just by relying on natural endowments. What was most important was still opportunities. The Scarlet Moon Patriarch did not have the legendary heaven and earth spiritual body. In fact, according to some inaccurate records, his talent was only at the middle spiritual body level. His achievements came from a fortuitous encounter in his youth. That was the Chi Yu inheritance. The Scarlet Moon inheritance allowed the Scarlet Moon Patriarch to change his fate and take the most meaningful step in his life. This was an important foundation for him to create the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The Scarlet Moon inheritance was ranked 3rd among the 4 great inheritances of the continent. Very few people in the world knew about its secrets, and the only person who had truly obtained it was the Scarlet Moon religion master. It was rumored that before the demonic religion was destroyed, the Scarlet Moon religion master recorded the secret of the Scarlet Moon inheritance on a map, calling it the Scarlet Moon map. Only by obtaining this map and deciphering the secrets on it would one be able to enter the Scarlet Moon inheritance, one of the 4 great inheritances. However, the Scarlet Moon religion's patriarch had purposely split the Scarlet Moon religion's map into 108 pieces and scattered them across the continent. On the continent, there were many people who had obtained fragments of the Scarlet Moon map, including some handwritten copies, replicas, etc. Up until now, no one had been able to piece together the 108 map fragments that were scattered across the continent. That was because only 70 to 80 pieces of the map had actually appeared in the world. There were still several dozen pieces that had yet to appear in the world. The Scarlet Moon map was filled with profound mysteries. Even one incomplete map piece would not be enough to open the Scarlet Moon inheritance, not to mention dozens of incomplete maps. Over the past hundreds of years, people's interest and passion for it have been far less than it had been in the beginning. Of course, if there was a genuine Scarlet Moon map fragment, it would still have a very high collection value. Judging from the aura of the Scarlet Moon incomplete map, it should be the real deal. Just this genuine Scarlet Moon incomplete map was worth far more than the spiritual rank divine weapon. Knowing the true value of the map fragment, Zhao Feng was also very surprised, but he did not regret it. Firstly, a single map fragment was not very meaningful. Secondly, although the value of the map fragment was high, Zhao Feng was just a low-level disciple of the sect. It would be difficult for him to make use of it, and it would only attract the calamity of death. The second reason was similar to the reason Zhao Feng gave up on the spirit-grade divine weapon. Zhao Feng, the two items you've offered are both rare treasures. The sect will definitely reward you handsomely. If you have any requests or wishes, you can state them all. The first elder was all smiles. As soon as he said that, all the disciples present revealed extremely envious expressions. This time, Zhao Feng's contribution was too great. In a small sect, spirit-grade divine weapons were usually the treasures of the sect and had a certain amount of deterrence. In the genuine Scarlet Moon, incomplete map fragment was worth much more than an ordinary spirit-grade divine weapon. Puzzled, Elder Shui said, "In principle, the spoils of war that a team obtains during a mission belong to the individual. Zhao Feng, why didn't you keep it for yourself and instead gave it to the sect? A spirit-grade divine weapon isn't something that I can control. As for this map fragment, I didn't know its origin before. I think that these two items might be more useful to the sect." Zhao Feng replied. Hearing this, Elder Shui and the first elder nodded their heads in praise. The two exchanged glances. This Zhao Feng knows his limits, and he can control his greed. If it was a normal disciple who obtained a spirit-grade divine weapon, they wouldn't be able to control their greed and would be killed. Furthermore, the credit for the spoils of war doesn't belong to me alone. Everyone in the team has a share of the credit. Zhao Feng continued. Hearing this, Lin Fan and the others revealed looks of gratitude. Everyone knew that the main credit belonged to Zhao Feng, and this was also the reason why he gave out the two items. On the other side, Quan Chin's face had turned green and his eyes were bloodshot. He was about to explode from anger. Zhao Feng had done so much, and this was a great fortune that even core disciples would be jealous of him. Haiyun Master's gaze occasionally glanced at Zhao Feng, and the coldness in his eyes disappeared. Zhao Feng was impeccable in terms of strength, potential, intelligence, and even his way of dealing with people. Now, everyone knew that Zhao Feng had done such a great deed. If the upper echelons of the sect didn't reward him, it would be a laughing stock. Otherwise, who would be willing to give it to the sect in the future when other disciples found it? Zhao Feng, we have decided to reward you with 200 low-grade primal crystal stones and 50,000 contribution points. Each member of your group will be rewarded with 50 low-grade primal crystal stones and 8,000 contribution points. Furthermore, due to your contribution, the sect will grant you a wish. The first elder announced with a smile. After the announcement, the crowd went into an uproar. 200 low-grade primal crystal stones is equivalent to 20,000 substandard primal crystal stones. I won't be able to get so many primal crystal stones in my entire life. Some disciples were filled with jealousy. 20,000 substandard primal crystal stones. This number even caused the true inheritor's eyes to turn red. Even some of the attendants and Vice Hall masters were envious. The monthly salary of core disciples was only 100 substandard primal crystal stones, which was equivalent to one low-grade primal crystal stone. Their real income came from their elders or from missions. Furthermore, 50,000 contribution points was also a huge amount of wealth. One had to know that entering the Hollow Building once only cost 5,000 contribution points. 3,000 points could buy a low-grade mortal weapon at half price. With these primal crystal stones and contribution points, Zhao Feng and the rest could increase their strength. The three of them revealed expressions of excitement. They were just basking in Zhao Feng's glory and were overjoyed to have such a reward. When the first elder saw the expressions on the faces of the others, a smile appeared on his face. In reality, compared to the spiritual weapon and the Scarlet Moon map fragment, these rewards were nothing. Actually, it wasn't that the first elder didn't consider giving them more rewards, but that would only have the opposite effect. A huge amount of wealth would only bring trouble to Zhao Feng and the rest. Therefore, the contribution points for the four far exceeded the primal crystal stones. 200 low-grade primal crystal stones and 50,000 contribution points are enough for a normal disciple to live in the sect for tens of years. Zhao Feng was satisfied. Of course, Zhao Feng's biggest reward was the wish. Within a reasonable range, Zhao Feng could make a request, and as long as it wasn't too much, the sect would agree. What should he make this wish? Zhao Feng soon had two ideas. The first was to get his hands on the 9-transformation golden wall technique. According to what he heard, this was a peak-grade mortal body tempering technique, and even core disciples didn't have the right to come into contact with it. Second, become the disciple of an elder or even a sect leader. He believed that with Zhao Feng's contributions, one of these two requests would be within the acceptable range of the sect. Zhao Feng, have you thought about it? Of course, you don't have to rush. You can think about it when you get back and bring it up to the sect. The first elder said with a smile. I've thought about it. A hint of determination appeared in Zhao Feng's eyes. He quickly made up his mind. Oh, tell me about it. The three elders all looked towards Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, don't go overboard with your request. High-Yin Master purposely gave Zhao Feng some pressure. At this point in time, High-Yin Master could feel Zhao Feng's potential. If it was someone else, it wouldn't be a problem, but this person was Lord Guanjuan's disciple, and this wasn't something he wanted to see. Disciple doesn't have anyone to teach me, so I hope that first elder can be my master. Zhao Feng's voice was firm. Master? The three elders all paused. High-Yin Master was the first to react as he said coldly, Zhao Feng, first elder status is high. Why would he casually take in a disciple? Even a high-grade spiritual body doesn't have the right to be first elder's disciple. As soon as he said this, a faint pressure of true spirit realm was transmitted to Zhao Feng's body. What he meant was that even a high-grade spiritual body didn't have the right to be first elder's disciple, not to mention a low-grade spiritual body. Zhao Feng's body went cold, and his blood seemed to freeze. It was as if the person standing in front of him was a giant. Those who had reached the true spirit realm weren't normal humans. Compared to normal humans, it was like comparing a giant to an ant. At this point in time, First Elder and Elder Shui surprisingly didn't say anything. Zhao Feng was puzzled. What's wrong? Logically speaking, with the contributions he had made, it shouldn't be too much for him to ask the First Elder to be his master. The reason why he became First Elder's disciple was because of the plan he had discussed with Lord Guanjuan. After entering the clan and becoming an inner disciple, he would need to find an elder to rely on in order to reduce the threat from High-Yin Master. At this moment, everyone fell into a short silence. First Elder didn't say anything. Talent isn't everything. Otherwise, the clan wouldn't give extra rewards to the top outer disciple. If First Elder is willing to take me in as a disciple, I won't regret it in the future. Zhao Feng was as calm as ever, and his words exuded immense confidence. He had an ancient bloodline, which was stronger than any supreme-grade spiritual body. If even the Blood Corpse Branch Protector was shocked by his bloodline, then it was easy to imagine. Hee Zhao Feng. First Elder won't take you in as a disciple. If you don't mind, you can become my disciple. The gold-robed elder laughed lightly and broke the heavy atmosphere. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be surprised, and he didn't know what was going on. Maybe First Elder had something he couldn't say. But as long as he could become the disciple of any elder, his goal would be achieved, and he didn't have to become First Elder's disciple. Zhao Feng, your potential isn't bad. I'm willing to take you in as a disciple. High-Yin Master smiled brightly as he suddenly said, This scene not only shocked Zhao Feng, Quan Chun and Yuan Ji, who were behind him, also had their mouths wide open. Chapter 157. At this point in time, there were two elders who wanted to take Zhao Feng as a disciple. But Zhao Feng chose First Elder. First Elder stood on the spot and didn't say anything. Zhao Feng didn't know what was going on, and High-Yin Master's sudden appearance caught him off guard. If it was just Elder Shui taking him as a disciple, then it wouldn't be a big deal. But now there was High-Yin Master. High-Yin Master's eyes were deep, and he had a bright smile on his face. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he understood after thinking about it. Haiyan Master did this to give him a chance to surrender, just like Moi, to become his disciple. Just like that, he once again crushed Lord Guanyu into the ground without any effort. If Master Su Ran knew about this, he would probably spit out blood. At the same time, this was also a forceful method to force Zhao Feng to make a choice. If Zhao Feng chose Elder Shui, then there would be no turning back, and they would be enemies in the future. Haiyan Master would try his best to suppress him and get rid of him. Haha, Brother Haiyan, you're interested in Zhao Feng? If you're willing, I can give him to you. Elder Shui was taken aback for a moment before bursting into laughter. Zhao Feng cursed in his heart. The situation was becoming more and more disadvantageous for him. At this point in time, he had already analyzed the situation. Firstly, First Elder didn't want to take him as a disciple for some reason. Secondly, Elder Shui wasn't sincere. Thirdly, Haiyan Master had ulterior motives. The key was the second point. The reason why Elder Shui brought up the idea of accepting a disciple was just to ease up the atmosphere and give the first elder a way out so that he wouldn't break his promise. Haiyan Master had just said that he wanted to take Zhao Feng as a disciple, and Elder Shui had agreed without hesitation. Therefore, Elder Shui wasn't sincere and he couldn't be relied on. From the fact that he had taken son Yuan Hao as a disciple, it could be seen that he valued talent. If I become Elder Shui's disciple, Haiyan Master might not necessarily protect me. Instead, he might even collude with Haiyan Master to sell me out. Zhao Feng quickly concluded. Elder Shui was insincere and unreliable. He was only trying to curry favor with the great elder. If Haiyan Master became his disciple, it would be like sending a sheep into a tiger's mouth, and it would go against Zhao Feng's principles and bottom line. Zhao Feng's mind spun, and he came to a conclusion. Rather than acknowledging these two as his master, he might as well change his request. On the other hand, the first elder wouldn't easily accept a disciple and wouldn't casually make promises. People like that would definitely do their best. Once they gained the first elder's approval, they would receive the best protection. Unfortunately, Zhao Feng secretly sighed and quickly made a decision. He didn't want to choose either Elder Shui or Haiyan Master. This choice made the crowd confused and puzzled. What kind of honor was it to become a disciple of an elder? It was no different from having a huge mountain behind one's back. The faces of Su Run and the other two were filled with pity. Unfortunately, they were not Zhao Feng and had no choice. A light flashed in the first elder's eyes as he finally spoke. If you give up on this request, it will force me to go back on my words. But I have sworn that I will never take another disciple in my life. Hearing this, Zhao Feng finally understood the last question. No wonder the first elder remained silent when he asked to become a disciple. It was obvious that he was waiting for Elder Shui and Haiyan Master to help him out. But God's plans were different. Zhao Feng had rejected both Elder Shui and Haiyan Master at the same time and would rather change his request. This meant that no matter if the first elder agreed or not, he would have to go back on his words. If you become my disciple, you have to agree to one request. The first elder continued. What request? Zhao Feng didn't think that the situation would change once again. Give up on lightning wind palm. The great elder said, enunciating each word. Zhao Feng was surprised. Why did the first elder want him to give up on lightning wind palm? Why didn't he take another disciple in his life? Suddenly, a sentence appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Yangon used to have a senior brother who cultivated lightning wind palm, but later on, this was what Sister Yuan had said. During the gathering, Yangon had tried to persuade Zhao Feng to cherish his life and stay away from lightning wind palm. Could it be that Yangon was the first elder's disciple? That senior brother of his had unfortunately died while practicing the lightning wind palm? First elder, you're Yangon's master? Zhao Feng asked carefully. Yangon was a prodigy who was ranked second amongst the 10 core disciples. As soon as Zhao Feng spoke, everyone nodded their heads. The first elder, however, remained silent and his eyes dimmed. Zhao Feng could see the sorrow and pain in his eyes. One could imagine that Yangon's senior brother, who cultivated the lightning wind palm, must have been a peerless genius. But he died because of his skill. Zhao Feng, What's the harm in giving up a skill if you want to become the first elder's disciple? At this moment, head Zhang of the clan mission division couldn't help but remind him. In name, he was Zhao Feng's master. Give up lightning wind palm? Zhao Feng's eyes were filled with determination. How could his will be shaken by others? Ever since Zhao Feng chose lightning wind palm, he had never regretted it. During the process, Zhao Feng used his left eye to look at every part of the skill, and he grasped any possible loopholes. He had analyzed that lightning wind palm was a bit rough, and the creator hadn't perfected it yet. Therefore, Zhao Feng wasn't only training this skill, he was also trying to perfect it and improve it. In the dimension of his left eye, he repeatedly simulated it. You must not be willing. It's too similar. Chinner had the same expression as you back then. He also said something similar to you. If I don't take him as my disciple, I will regret it in the future. The first elder had a complicated expression as he stared at Zhao Feng, as if this was another person from his memories. First elder, what he said, I will do. What he can't do, I will complete. Zhao Feng's expression was calm and full of confidence. Arrogant, shameless. As soon as he said this, the people around him started to criticize him. Even the two elders had their eyebrows furrowed. Some were even worried that Zhao Feng would be engulfed by First Elder's anger. But Zhao Feng wasn't worried at all, because at this moment, he had become a substitute for the disciple that First Elder loved. There are also differences between you and him. First Elder looked at Zhao Feng and smiled. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. Could it be that First Elder could tell that he was using his emotions? You are as confident as him and even arrogant. But there is one difference. You are very calm. First Elder stared at Zhao Feng for a long time. Calm. This was a strong mentality that Zhao Feng had after merging with his left eye. No matter how much capital he had, no matter how high his achievements were, he would never truly be arrogant and conceited, nor would he lose himself. The high profile and arrogance he had displayed earlier were all methods to establish himself in the sect and resolve the predicament he was in. Now, it was all for the sake of achieving his goal. Zhao Feng and First Elder's eyes met, but they didn't move away. First Elder's face showed signs of struggle. After a long while, he let out a long breath. Since you don't want to give up on Lightning Wind Palm, I can only take you as an in-name disciple. Of course, you could become the disciple of another elder or even change your request. All in all, I've tried my best. Tried his best. Zhao Feng could understand First Elder's stance. His most beloved disciple had met with misfortune due to practicing Lightning Wind Palm, and he swore that he would never take a disciple again. But he had given Zhao Feng a wish. Becoming his disciple wasn't an unreasonable request. Therefore, First Elder made a compromise. If Zhao Feng gave up on Lightning Wind Palm, then he would accept him as a disciple. Otherwise, how could he bear to see another disciple die in the same situation? But there was another problem. Zhao Feng was very similar to the disciples he had accepted in the past, and he wouldn't change his decision. After some struggle, First Elder could only promise to take Zhao Feng as an in-name disciple. There was a huge difference between in-name disciples and direct disciples. The former was only in name, and the master didn't have to pass down the true inheritance. Even if the in-name disciple committed a heinous crime, the master wouldn't be implicated. Disciple greets master. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate and immediately became his disciple. Just as he was about to bow, First Elder stopped him. He's only an in-name disciple, not an official disciple. There's no need to be so formal. First Elder didn't want to put too much emotion on Zhao Feng because the latter practiced Lightning Wind Palm and would be a ticking time bomb in the future. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and didn't mind. He only became First Elder's disciple to find someone to rely on. That's all. From his point of view, being First Elder's in-name disciple was better than being Elder Shue's direct disciple. Firstly, First Elder status was high and he rarely took in disciples. Even if it was an in-name disciple, no one dared to casually touch him. Secondly, First Elder was a person who valued relationships. Even if it was an in-name disciple, he wouldn't ignore Zhao Feng. At least it wouldn't be hard for him to be protected. After successfully becoming First Elder's disciple, Zhao Feng could feel the envious gazes of the surrounding disciples. Even if it was just becoming First Elder's in-name disciple, it was enough to make many people envious. Being an in-name disciple of Zhao Feng was extremely valuable. First Elder didn't easily take in disciples. Apart from Yang'an, there was only Zhao Feng. He wasn't like the other elders who had several direct disciples and many in-name disciples. Furthermore, First Elder's status in the clan far surpassed normal elders, and even the clan master had to respect him. This brat actually succeeded. Haiyan Master paused for a moment, and his eyebrows furrowed, as if he felt that this matter was troublesome. First Elder's status in the clan was too special, and he was above the other elders. Even if Zhao Feng was only First Elder's in-name disciple, his treatment wasn't any worse than the direct disciples of the other elders. At this moment, Zhao Feng's heart calmed down. According to his master's plan, he had achieved his second goal in the clan. First goal, to become an inner disciple. Second goal, to find someone to rely on. The backer he had found was not just an ordinary kind of powerful person. From the wariness and hatred in Quan Shun and Yuan Ji's eyes, Zhao Feng could see a thing or two. For the next few days, the Broken Moon clan searched 1,000 miles around the Xing family to find the location of the Blood Corpse Protector, but there was no progress. The Blood Corpse Protector was heavily injured and shouldn't have been able to escape more than a few hundred miles. However, the Broken Moon clan sent out experts and even elders, but they still couldn't find a shadow of the demonic religion. What the Broken Moon clan didn't know was that if Zhao Feng used his left eye, he would have at least a 50 to 60% chance of finding the Blood Corpse Protector. But unfortunately, Zhao Feng's goals had all been achieved. High profile was enough. Next, he needed to be low profile and focus on increasing his strength. Chapter 158. Half a month later, the Broken Moon clan searched around the Xing family, but they couldn't find any traces of the demonic religion. The search area became wider and wider, but the hope became smaller and smaller. Finally, the three elders returned and the majority of the clan's experts left. Zhao Feng also returned to the Broken Moon clan. The third day after the elites of the clan left, in the depths of the Xing family, a weird piu-piu sound came from a grave. If one looked down from the sky and could see through the soil, they would see a strange scene. The blood of all the corpses in the Xing family seeped into the soil, following a strange path and converging at a single point. These corpses were all locals of the Xing family. Although they had been cremated, the blood of the corpses had already seeped into the soil. Being a hidden family, the cultivation of the adults in the Xing family were all at the second rank of the Consolidated Realm, and there were some who were at the fourth rank of the Consolidated Realm or higher. Under the guidance of a strange force, the blood that was left behind by the plague seeped into the soil and gathered at one point. Zhezhe, the most dangerous place, is also the safest place. The Blood Plague Essence Gathering Array was set up several months ago, so it's within my expectations that the clan would find it. A silver-striped blood corpse crawled out of the ground, its body overflowing with blood. Being the Blood Corpse Protector, it had lived for several hundred years and had long since left the realm of a human and turned into a half-dead. Therefore, his lifespan was several times longer than those of the true spirit realm, or even longer. After appearing in the world, the aura from the silver-striped blood corpse was much stronger, and it had recovered to the fifth sky of the Ascended Realm. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to refine the Blood Jade pill. Brat's surname Zhao. We'll meet again one day. A weird smile appeared on the Blood Corpse Protector's face as he licked his lips. In his plan, he had already predicted that the Broken Moon clan would search everywhere, and the only exception was Zhao Feng. Thinking about how he, a Blood Corpse Protector, had been blackmailed by a brat, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. But what the Blood Corpse Protector didn't know was that he had also walked through the gates of hell. After Zhao Feng made a great contribution, he became more low-key and kept his left eye hidden during the search. Otherwise, if Zhao Feng fully opened his left eye and searched the villa, it would not be difficult for him to find the blood plague essence gathering formation that was hidden under the soil. A few days later, the elites of the Broken Moon clan returned to Sky Moon Mountain. From afar, Zhao Feng could see the floating crest palace floating in the air above the mountain peak with the rain and lightning. It was majestic and gave off an ancient and desolate feeling. In 2 months, the floating crest trial will begin. Some disciples looked up at the dark green palace in the sky, their expressions filled with anticipation and urgency. The deadline of the floating crest trial was approaching. Some of the disciples wanted to change their fates and fight for opportunities. They secretly accumulated their strength and were full of fighting spirit. Most of the disciples in the clan didn't have any background, and the floating crest trial was a fair opportunity. If they could grasp it, they could change their future. The floating crest trial that happens once every 5 years, I must grasp it. Zhao Feng's heart was firm and unshakable. The clan examination that happened once every 5 years, the floating crest trial that happened once every 5 years. If he missed any one of these opportunities, he could be stuck here for years. For Zhao Feng, 5 years was too long. Ever since he had merged with the mysterious left eye, he had been flying high. He had stayed in the Zhao clan for a few months before entering the Guanjuan Palace. Then, he had cultivated in the Guanjuan Palace for a few months before entering the clan. After cultivating in the clan for a few months, he had reached his current height. A year ago, in the Zhao family, he was only a 13 or 14-year-old youth, not even 14. 1 year later, he had successfully entered the clan at the age of 14. One's life was completed through these opportunities. If it wasn't for this, Zhao Feng wouldn't have been able to reach the second sky of the Ascended Realm from the first rank of the martial path in just 1 year. Such a speed of advancement couldn't be said to be slow, and it was sufficient to compare with some peerless geniuses in the world of sections. Returning to the inner disciples, Zhao Feng said his goodbyes to Lin Fan, and Company Lin Fan was the last to leave, and he said sincerely, "Brother Zhao, not only did you save my life, you also gave me such an opportunity. I will remember your kindness, and I will definitely repay you in the future." Sending Lin Fan off with his eyes, Zhao Feng fell into deep thought. He was alone in the clan, and he didn't have any friends he could rely on. His 2 senior brothers, Yang Qingshan and Nan Gongfan, weren't strong enough yet. On the other hand, Lin Fan was the first to wake up after being poisoned, and he was stronger than Xiao Sun and Su Rin. The 2 worked well together during the mission. In the forest, when Zhao Feng had mysteriously disappeared, only Lin Fan had questioned Huang Yun and the others. Lin Fan didn't know that this thought of Zhao Feng had changed his fate. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. After finding the Scarlet Moon demonic cave, the Broken Moon clan had calmed down. This news had spread to the other clans of the 13 clans, and they all started to talk about what to do. This had nothing to do with Zhao Feng. After returning to the clan, he used his primal crystal stones and contribution points to buy some spiritual pills. The first step was to increase his body strengthening cultivation. After reaching the 10th level, Silver Wall technique progress was extremely slow, like a snail. The 11th level was the highest level of the Silver Wall incantation, a perfect body without melting in the furnace. According to the description of the skill, at the highest level, one could fight against those at the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm with just their body strength. Therefore, the difference between the 10th and 11th level wasn't small. Zhao Feng originally thought that he could reach his goal by spending 1 or 200 substandard primal crystal stones, but he still hadn't reached his goal after spending almost 1,000. After spending almost 1,000 primal crystal stones and contribution points, Zhao Feng's Silver Wall technique had only reached the peak 10th level, and he was about to break through the last bottleneck. He was only half a step away from the 11th level. Zhao Feng sighed. He didn't think that even with his bloodline power and all these resources, his body strengthening cultivation would still be so slow. In the world of clans, there weren't many cultivators who focused on body strengthening, so one could see how difficult it was. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had overestimated the speed of breaking through to the Ascended Realm. Every time one broke through to the seventh sky of the ascended realm, one state of existence would change, and it wasn't easy. I still have 22,000 or so substandard primal crystal stones. I should be able to succeed if I spend another 500. Zhao Feng analyzed in his heart. He had indeed gained a lot from the last mission, but he still needed to plan how to use the primal crystal stones he had, especially when he was about to face the floating crest trial. Every minute and second was extremely important. If he bought his own materials, he could save money, but Zhao Feng's time was precious, and he couldn't waste it. The floating crest trial was the true fortune, and he didn't regret wasting these primal crystal stones. Another few days passed. Zhao Feng's silver wall technique had finally reached the 11th level. In order to reach this goal, he had spent a total of 2,000 substandard primal crystal stones, which was equivalent to 20 low-grade primal crystal stones. Of course, by paying such a price, Zhao Feng's strength had increased to a terrifying level. Not melting in a furnace, a perfect body. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and circulated his body, strengthening technique. A layer of silver light appeared around his body, making him seem like a Buddha made of gold and metal. Now, his body's strength could fight against normal cultivators at the third sky of the ascended realm. In terms of defense, it was even more terrifying. If he was thrown into a furnace, he would be fine for a short period of time. At the same time that his body-strengthening technique increased, Zhao Feng's inner force also increased. The Heavenly Wind God technique was a high-class mortal skill, and Zhao Feng had trained it to the 4th level, with the highest level being the 6th. The higher the level of this skill, the purer the true force would be. At the 4th level, the purity of the true force will be comparable to those at the 4th sky of the ascended realm. Although Zhao Feng's cultivation was only at the 2nd sky of the ascended realm, the purity of his true force was comparable to those at the 4th sky of the ascended realm. Over the past month, the Heavenly Wind God technique and Silver Wall technique had both improved, but the Lightning Wind Palm had improved the slowest. The Lightning Wind Palm was split into 6 levels. Zhao Feng had stopped at the early stages of the 3rd level, Summon Lightning, and he was only half a step away from the 4th level, Great Thunder. Once I reach the 4th level, I'll be able to summon lightning and numb the opponent's body. Not only is it powerful, it can also control the opponent. Zhao Feng looked forward to this level. But from the 4th level onwards, the Lightning Wind Palm would change from wind to lightning. As for the power of lightning, Zhao Feng had only just started, so his progress was slow. Another reason was that the Lightning Wind Palm was a bit rough. As Zhao Feng trained, he would practice it in the dimension of his left eye. Of course, his hard work wouldn't go to waste. His Lightning Wind Palm had reached the peak 3rd level, and as long as he could break through the last layer, he would be able to reach the 4th level. Time passed by quickly, and there was only 1 month left in the floating crest trial. Zhao Feng felt that his body, strengthening, cultivation, and martial arts had all reached a bottleneck. I've already mastered the Silver Wall technique. I wonder if I can get my hands on the 9-twist Golden Wall technique. Zhao Feng thought. According to what he knew, the 9-twist Golden Wall technique was a peak-class mortal skill, and it was extremely precious in the clan. There were only tens of peak-class mortal skills in the entire clan. Zhao Feng had close to 50,000 contribution points, and choosing a middle-class mortal skill required 5,000 points. Therefore, Zhao Feng decided to ask First Elder about this. Nominally, the Great Elder was now his master. But ever since he returned to the sect, this esteemed master hadn't given Zhao Feng any pointers or even asked him anything. Usually, even if there was something, First Elder would ask Yanggan to instruct Zhao Feng. Today, First Elder was teaching disciple Yanggan, and Zhao Feng's request was quickly accepted. You're talking about the 9-twist Golden Wall technique? First Elder's eyebrows furrowed. Brother Zhao, the 9-twist Golden Wall technique is a peak-class mortal skill. You're biting off more than you can chew. Yanggan let out a laugh and couldn't help but shake his head. His junior brother was too impatient. Even a core disciple of the First Elder didn't have the right to learn a peak-class mortal cultivation skill. Chapter 159. Seeing First Elders and Yonggan's reactions, Zhao Feng added, Disciple means to exchange contribution points for a peak class mortal skill. The clan had instructions on how to exchange contribution points for a middle-class mortal skill, but there were no rules for high-class mortal skills. You don't have enough contribution points to exchange for a peak class mortal skill. Even if you have enough, you won't be able to exchange for it. First Elder shook his head. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be dazed. Yonggan answered with a smile. Not only do you need 200,000 contribution points, you also need to be at least at the sixth sky of the Ascended Realm. 200,000 contribution points. Sixth sky of the Ascended Realm. Zhao Feng's heart went cold. He knew that he had no chance. He hadn't even reached one of the two requirements, and he was far from it. He never would have thought that the requirements for a peak class mortal skill would be so high. Junior Martial Brother Zhao, peak mortal martial skills are of a very high level. It's not something you can touch, especially the 9-twist golden wall technique. It's extremely difficult, and even elders find it hard to train it to the highest level. Yonggan sighed as he spoke up to hear. Zhao Feng's dream couldn't even be described as biting off more than he could chew. In the clan, Yonggan had never heard of a disciple at the second sky of the Ascended Realm asking for a peak class mortal skill. In the Broken Moon clan, only elders could learn a few peak class mortal skills. As for the spiritual skills, they were the ultimate skills of the clan, and even elders might not be able to comprehend more than half of it. Why did you choose the 9-twist golden wall technique? The path of body strengthening is the hardest. You've already left the consolidated realm and reached the Ascended Realm. Why don't you put more effort into what you're good at? For example, your mental energy. First Elder's eyes twinkled as he stared at Zhao Feng. Hearing this, Zhao Feng fell into deep thought as he pondered over First Elder's words. He suddenly felt that First Elder's words made sense. Why did he have to choose the difficult path of body strengthening? Should he choose the unattainable 9 transformation golden wall technique? In the 9 stages of the martial path, the body was the foundation. Zhao Feng had focused on refining his body and entering the ascended mortality realm, which had indeed laid a good foundation. However, the problem was that he had already advanced to the transcending mortality stage, so he didn't have to choose the 9 transformation golden wall technique. Besides, First Elder's eyes were sharp. He could see that Zhao Feng had an extraordinary mental energy, which came from the mysterious left eye, from the small blue abyss in the dimension of the left eye. Zhao Feng had only performed a superficial, psychic assassination. He didn't know how to open this potential treasure. After pondering for a moment, Zhao Feng made up his mind. What do you think? The First Elder narrowed his eyes. Master's words make sense. I shouldn't be so obsessed with body refinement. Perhaps this isn't the best cultivation path for me. Zhao Feng nodded in acknowledgement. Even though he had the power of his bloodline, he didn't feel as smooth as before when he was cultivating. Seeing Zhao Feng comprehend it so easily, the First Elder was slightly surprised and thought, this kid is smart and doesn't seem like a rebellious person. But why doesn't he give up on the lightning wind palm? It's a pity that the silver wall technique has reached the highest level. Zhao Feng sighed. Wang, as his qi and blood surged, a layer of silver crystal appeared on the surface of his body, making him look like a crystal statue. This was the 11th level of the silver wall technique. Not melting in a furnace, a perfect body. What? The expressions of First Elder and Yonggan changed at the same time. They never would have thought that Zhao Feng's body strengthening technique had reached such a high level. Just his body alone was comparable to the third sky of the Ascended Realm. Brother Zhao's body strengthening technique has reached such a high level. He definitely has the chance to enter the floating crest trial. Yonggan said, slightly surprised. It wasn't that no one in the clan could train a mortal body strengthening technique to the highest level, but it was extremely rare. But there wasn't a second person as young as Zhao Feng, who said he didn't specialize in body strengthening. The eyebrows of the First Elder twitched slightly. At the same time, he admired Zhao Feng's decisiveness. If it was an ordinary person who had reached this level of body refining technique, how could they easily give up Even he felt that it was a pity. Maybe Zhao Feng had some talent in body strengthening. Thinking up to here, the first elder smiled. It's not like there's no chance at all. I can give you a path. Even if your cultivation and contribution points aren't enough, you can still get the 9-twist golden wall technique and other peak class mortal skills. Master, please speak. Zhao Feng's heart moved. Floating crest trial. The first elder said, word by word. Floating crest trial? Zhao Feng and Yangon looked at each other. The floating crest trial is a great opportunity for you and the clan. If you are strong enough, you will be able to get peak class mortal skills, and spiritual weapons in the floating crest trial. The first elder smiled faintly. Zhao Feng and Yangon's jaws dropped. What was so special about the floating crest palace that it even had spiritual skills? If you can get a peak class mortal skill from the floating crest palace, you can trade the 9-twist golden wall technique with the clan. The first elder explained. No wonder. Zhao Feng understood. Even the elders of the clan were looking forward to the floating crest trial. However, this mysterious palace had restrictions on outsiders. Those over a certain cultivation and age weren't able to enter. There's one more thing. If you have great talent in a certain area, you may be able to get a corresponding inheritance in the floating crest palace. The grand elder stroked his beard and smiled. Hearing this, Zhao Feng's heart thumped. Core disciple Yangon also had a look of yearning on his face. Zhao Feng finally understood why the clan placed so much importance on the floating crest trial. Thank you for your advice, Master. Disciple will be leaving now. Zhao Feng didn't stay for long and left. Only the first elder and Yangon were left. With his performance in the Scarlet Moon Demonic Cave and his current body strengthening skills, he should be able to enter the floating crest trial. The first elder murmured, Master, if he enters the trial, should I help him? Yangon suddenly asked. He didn't know what his master thought of this outer disciple. No need. The first elder's expression was decisive. The floating crest trial is extremely important to you, and you can only enter it once in your life. You're the strongest disciple here, so you must grasp this opportunity. Disciple understands. Yangon let out a breath. It looked like he was very important in Master's heart and wasn't something an outer disciple could compare to. Furthermore, the life and death of a person who practiced the lightning wind palm was unknown. It was impossible for Master to invest too much emotion in him. After sending Yangon off, the first elder murmured to himself, This Zhao Feng is so decisive to give up on the path of body strengthening and choose the most beneficial path for himself. He's calm and doesn't seem like someone who's arrogant. But if that's the case, why does he want to practice the lightning wind palm? After leaving the first elder's palace, Zhao Feng's mind cleared up. After reaching the ascended realm, he had formed a solid foundation. Now, he didn't need to focus on body strengthening. From a new perspective, he would walk on whatever path was most suitable for him. This was the most logical choice. Since the 9-twist golden wall technique was so rare, there was no need for him to force it. The path of body strengthening is slow, and it consumes large amounts of resources, which will slow down my cultivation. The more Zhao Feng thought about it, the more confident he became. Apart from that, the first elder mentioned that Zhao Feng had mental energy that surpassed others. Even an outsider could see this, but Zhao Feng had forgotten about this treasure. In the next period of time, Zhao Feng started to prepare for the floating crest trial and the competition before it. There were only 10 spots for the floating crest trial, so the competition would be intense. Many of those who signed up were at the third sky of the Ascended Realm and some core disciples. Not only was Zhao Feng working hard, the other inner disciples were also training hard. Lin Fan, who lived next door, would occasionally come over to spar with Zhao Feng. After the last mission, Lin Fan had gained a lot, and he had broken through to the second sky of the Ascended Realm a month ago. A few days ago, Lin Fan had easily defeated his old rival Su Run in a spar. One had to know that Su Rin had also broken through to the third sky half a month ago, but he wasn't Lin Fan's match. Lin Fan's talent wasn't high, but just like Zhao Feng, he had a strong will and he could challenge those of higher cultivation. Zhao Feng and Lin Fan fought in a small area in their own courtyard. Wave reverse blade technique. Lin Fan held a simple and thick saber in his hand. With a sudden slash, his aura was like a rainbow, as though he was cutting through the waves, giving off a suffocating feeling. You've learned a high-class mortal blade skill so quickly. Zhao Feng laughed lightly, and he circulated his lightning wind palm, forcing Lin Fan back. Not only had Lin Fan learnt a high-class mortal blade skill, he had also changed his weapon to a low-grade mortal weapon. Zhao Feng had used 70% of his strength to barely defeat Lin Fan after 20 moves. One had to know that cultivators at the second sky of the Ascended Realm wouldn't be able to last more than a few moves against Zhao Feng, even if he only used 70% of his strength. It's all thanks to Brother Zhao for teaching me a high-class mortal skill, but even so, I'm still not Brother Zhao's match. Lin Fan was grateful, but also slightly bitter. Although he had received a large amount of contribution points and spirit stones, it wasn't enough to exchange for a high-class mortal skill. Zhao Feng felt that Lin Fan was reliable, so he gave him the wave reverse blade technique from the hole in the hollow building. The group had gained a lot from a mission, and even if they had high-class mortal skills, they wouldn't attract much attention. Brother Zhao, your strength is probably close to the fourth sky of the Ascended Realm. It's definitely not a problem for you to get a spot. But why don't you get a weapon to increase your strength? Lin Fan suggested. Weapon? Zhao Feng's heart moved. His golden stairs bow wasn't enough. The floating crest trial depended on one's strength, so getting a good weapon could indeed increase one's overall strength. Thinking up to here, he went to the Clan Mission Division. Clan Mission Division. Zhao Feng saw Old Man Zhang, and he immediately told him what he wanted. I can give you an extra 20% discount. Old Man Zhang smiled warmly. Extra 20% discount? Zhao Feng smiled. This discount was extra, and normal people definitely wouldn't be able to get it. Soon, Old Man Zhang brought Zhao Feng to the Hall of Weapons. Blacksmiths gathered in the Clan Mission Division, and there was also a special trading area. It was the official trading area of the clan, and one could use contribution points to get a discount. Inside the hall, rows of weapons shone brightly. Sharpness, 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 all of them dazzled Zhao Feng's eyes. Chapter 160. Inside the Divine Weapon Hall, there were all sorts of powerful weapons like treasures arranged everywhere. If it was any other sect disciple, their hearts would palpitate with excitement and yearning. However, the prices of these divine weapons were not cheap. Any divine weapon would cost thousands of substandard crystal stones, and this was just a mortal lower-grade divine weapon. If it were a mortal middle-grade divine weapon, it would easily cost tens of thousands. Old Zhang had a good relationship with Zhao Feng, so he brought him to the divine weapon treasury. In the treasury, every divine weapon was at least a mortal lower-grade divine weapon, and they were the best of the same kind. Black Windblade can increase the strength of true power by 20%, increase the speed of blade by 30%, emits a black wind aura, and increases the concept of blade aura. Mortal lower grade divine weapon, price 6,600 substandard crystal stones. Flowing feather sword, light as a feather, cutting through iron like mud, increases the speed of true power breaking through the air by 30%, increases the density of sword chi by 30%. Price 5,800 substandard primordial crystal stones. Red flame sword, smelted with red flame crystal, adds fire attack, combined with fire-type martial arts, can increase the attack power by at least 40%. Price 5,500 substandard crystal stones. Zhao Feng took a look. The mortal lower-grade divine weapons in the treasury were a few times more expensive than the same grade divine weapons, and their attributes were not bad. Especially the Black Windblade. It had 3 attributes, but the price was over 6,000, almost double the price of some of the cheaper divine weapons. Every weapon's material, workmanship, and power are better than the same grade divine weapons. Of course, the price is much higher. Old Zhang smiled. He promised to give Zhao Feng a 20% discount, which was already an unimaginable benefit, Even direct disciples could not enjoy it. In normal sects, only elders could enjoy such a discount. Zhao Feng nodded, his gaze sweeping across the divine weapons in the treasury: blades, swords, whips, axes, halberds, bows and arrows, gloves. Everything that one could think of was there. Among all the divine weapons, swords and blades were the mainstream. One was the king of weapons, the other was the overlord of weapons. These two weapons were relatively common and easy to learn. Unfortunately, Zhao Feng was not interested in sabers and swords at the moment. These two types of weapons could not bring out his greatest strength. Comparatively speaking, a long-range bow was tailor-made for him. Zhao Feng then looked at the bow-type divine weapons and found that there were very few bows in the treasure room. It seemed that the weapons he was good at were all a little non-mainstream. Heavenly Eagle Bow, shooting range of 2 li, can increase one's field of vision by 1 li. The full power of the bow can pierce through 4 armors and break through the true power layer of the 4th layer of the Ascended Realm. Price: 3,600 substandard crystal stones. Zhao Feng picked up the bow and looked at it. Its attributes and power were quite good. There was a special array formation on the bow that could increase one's vision, but it was useless against Zhao Feng. If there were no obstructions, his left I could clearly see objects hundreds of miles away. His right I was also stronger than an ordinary person's, and he could see a fly several miles away. Azure Iron Bow, extremely explosive power. The full power of the bow can penetrate 4 layers of armor. Requires extremely strong arm strength and high vision requirements. The price of this bow was even lower, only 2,900 substandard crystal stones. Zhao Feng looked at it again and found that the price of the bow-type divine weapons was 20 to 30% lower than the others. Bow-type divine weapons are, after all, unpopular. If I leave it here, I might not be able to sell even 1 or 2 in a few years. Old Man Zhang smiled. Zhao Feng thought that this was a good thing for him. But thinking about it, bow-type divine weapons also needed arrows, and the latter was considered a semi-consumable item. I have 200 low-grade primal crystal stones, which is more than enough to buy a low-grade mortal weapon. Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng placed his attention on the middle-grade mortal weapons. Middle-grade mortal weapons were a level higher in price. Swords and blades were usually 40 to 50,000 in the Great Hall, but 70 to 80,000 substandard crystal stones here. But at the same time, middle-grade mortal weapons were extremely powerful. For example, the sword that Zhao Feng saw could double the true force of a cultivator at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, making it even stronger than a cultivator at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm. With such a weapon, it was possible to kill those at a higher level. Luo Bao. Speed can break through the sound barrier. Depending on arm strength and true force, it can pierce through 3 layers of armor, and it can insta-kill cultivators at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm. The Luoho arrow, when used with this bow, doubles the power and speed. According to the owner's thoughts, it can lock onto the enemy's vitals, and even if the attack misses, it can still chase after the enemy. The bow alone is at the peak of the middle grade mortal grade. With the Luoho arrow, it is close to the high grade mortal grade. The price of the bow is 80,000 substandard crystal stones, and the price of the entire set is 150,000 substandard crystal stones. When Zhao Feng saw this bow, his heart was inexplicably attracted. This bow was too strong. Whether it was speed or power, it had reached the extreme. No wonder it was a middle-grade mortal weapon. Its power and attributes were beyond imagination. Zhao Feng took off the dark green and red weird bow and felt that it wasn't made of wood or metal. It was extremely unique. This bow was smaller than normal bows, only slightly bigger than a crossbow. Its attack speed is even faster than sound, and it can insta-kill cultivators at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm. Combined with the Luoho arrow, the might of all the attributes will be doubled. In fact, the arrow will be able to lock onto the enemy and chase them for a certain distance. Zhao Feng thought about the attributes of the bow and couldn't bear to let go. However, the price of this bow was also terrifyingly high, 150,000 substandard crystal stones. Too expensive. Zhao Feng took in a deep breath. You want the Luoho Bao? Old man Zhang said with a smile. Unfortunately, it's too expensive. And this is only a Bao. If it were any other divine weapon, the price would probably be more than 200,000. Zhao Feng shook his head. According to the rules of the clan, you could get a 50% discount on a middle-grade mortal weapon for 50,000 contribution points. This old man will give you another 20% discount, so the final price is 30%. Old man Zhang said with a smile. 30% discount? Zhao Feng's heart moved. This way, the final price would be 45,000 substandard crystal stones. If you just bought the Bao, it would be 24,000 substandard crystal stones. In principle, you have to sell the entire set. If you want to buy the Bao alone, you have to buy all 3 Luoho arrows within 3 years. This old man can guarantee for you. Old man Zhang laughed. After all, he was Zhao Feng's teacher in name, and he had to make things easier for Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng thought about it. Even if he didn't have the arrows, he could only use 20 to 30% of the Luoho Bao's power. Normal middle-grade mortal weapons required one to be at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm to unleash their full power. But even with a 30% discount, the Luoho Bao alone would still cost 24,000 substandard crystal stones. Zhao Feng only had a bit more than 20,000. Teacher, why don't we do this? We'll put the remaining 4,000 substandard crystal stones on credit first. After I enter the floating crest trial, I'll be able to get a few weapons with my strength. It won't be too late to pay the primal crystal stones then. Zhao Feng suggested. Okay. Old man Zhang had seen Zhao Feng's strength in the Scarlet Moon Cave, and he knew that the latter had the ability to enter the Floating Crest Palace. Let me remind you, although there are many treasures in the Floating Crest Palace, do you think there's gold everywhere for you to pick up? Only a small number of disciples have been able to find treasures in the past. In the past 100 years, apart from Haiyan Master, I've never heard of anyone else getting anything. Even that Elder Yun, who only got 2 mortal-grade magic weapons, is still the best in the last 100 years of the Floating Crest trial. Old man Zhang said. As for the 4,000 substandard crystal stones that Zhao Feng owed, Old man Zhang wasn't worried at all. Not to mention the treasures in the Floating Crest trial. Zhao Feng's pill-making skills were enough for him to earn back these primal crystal stones. Thank you, teacher. Zhao Feng took off the Luoho Bao and felt warmth in his heart. In the sect, only the 2 Vice Hall Masters were willing to take care of him. Shoo! The 3 dark red arrows returned to the Luoho Bao as if they had a mind of their own. Zhao Feng was shocked. Could it be that the Bao had a mind of its own? He had subconsciously merged a bit of true force into the Bao, but the 3 Luoho arrows returned to the Bao. If he used the Luoho arrow, even if the enemy tried to dodge, he would be able to chase after them. This Bao and sword are connected by the mother and child's heart. It can automatically return the Luoho arrow to its original position. Usually only high-grade mortal bows and arrows have this ability. Old man Zhang explained. Next time, I'll definitely bring the Luoho arrow out. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. Right now, he could only bring the Luoho Bao. After spending another few hundred substandard crystal stones to buy a quiver of high-quality arrows, Zhao Feng left the Clan Affairs Division. On the way, Zhao Feng passed by the true martial challenge stage of the Inner Hall Division and heard the sounds of fighting. Challenging a core disciple. It's been 1 or 2 years since I've seen such an exciting battle. The challenger is Quan Chun. He reached the 4th sky half a month ago, so he does have the right to do so. On the stage, 2 disciples at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm fought fiercely. One of them was Quan Chun. When Zhao Feng arrived, the battle was coming to an end. Waning moon, flying blade. Quan Chun waved his arms, and 3 to 4 silver lights shot out at the same time. The cold wind cut the core disciple at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm into a ruffled state with tens of wounds on his body. When he fought Zhao Feng in the Scarlet Moon Demonic Cave, Quan Chun had only used 1 blade of Waning Moon, but this Waning Moon flying blade had shot out 4 or 5 at once. I admit defeat. The core disciple let out a long breath. Brother Quan, I didn't think that you trained 2 high-class mortal skills at the same time and your Cold Moon Manual has reached the 4th level. The Cold Moon Manual and Zhao Feng's Heavenly Wind God Technique were skills of the same level. Zhao Feng's Heavenly Wind God Technique had also reached the 4th level, which was the same level as Quan Chun. But the latter's cultivation was higher, and he had studied it for many years, so his power surpassed the second sky of the Ascended Realm. This Quan Chin's improvement isn't small. He's more than twice as strong as he was in the Scarlet Moon Demonic Cave. Zhao Feng thought. After Quan Chin won, he became a core disciple and was ranked in the top 10. Including his second brother Yuan Ji, 2 of the top 10 core disciples were from Hai Yun Master. I heard that Brother Quan is going to participate in the Floating Crest trial. There's no need to fight for a spot to become a core disciple. Some of the inner disciples were both envious and worried at the same time. Core disciple Quan Chun is also going to participate in the Floating Crest trial? Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as a cold light flashed in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, tens of days passed. There were only 10 days left in the Floating Crest trial. Apart from the core disciples, everyone who wanted to participate had to fight for a spot. This time, there were 3 core disciples participating in the Floating Crest trial. Therefore, there were only 7 spots left to compete for. Chapter 161 Broken Moon Clan, Central Division. At the first light of day, many figures arrived at the Central Hall Square. Some of them were inner disciples, and some were other members of the sect. Today wasn't the inner disciples gathering, but there were more and more people arriving. His gaze followed the main hall of the Central Hall and looked up into the sky. High up in the sky, there floated a dark green palace. It was majestic and mysterious, surrounded by lightning and rain, emitting an ancient aura. Amongst the crowd, Zhao Feng and Lin Fan had also arrived. Zhao Feng's gaze was fixated on the Floating Crest Palace. He found that the aura around the Floating Crest Palace was stronger than a few months ago. Today was the day before the Floating Crest trial, the full name of which was the Floating Crest Competition. The Floating Crest trial was opened once every 5 years, and it was a great opportunity for the clan. At the same time, the Floating Crest Competition was also held once every 5 years. Using this opportunity, the upper echelon elders of the clan would appear and inspect the elite disciples. Brother Zhao, Brother Lin, you guys also signed up for the competition? Su Ren smiled as he walked over. Ever since the Xing family mission, Su Ren and Zhao Feng had become friends. That's right. With Brother Zhao's strength, he can definitely participate in the Floating Crest trial, but I'm a bit worried. Lin Fan smiled. Brother Zhao will definitely be fine. Su Ren nodded his head. Because they had participated in the mission together, Su Ren knew Zhao Feng's strength very well. When they were free, the 3 would spar with each other. Amongst them, Zhao Feng was the strongest, followed by Lin Fan and then Su Ren. Su Ren usually didn't have the chance to spar with Zhao Feng, but Lin Fan, who easily beat him every time, would feel helpless whenever Zhao Feng was mentioned. The conversation between the 3 was heard by Princess Yunming Xiang. Participating in the Floating Crest trial? From Su Ren and Lin Fan's tone, it seems like Zhao Feng will definitely get a spot. Yunming Xiang's eyes turned and landed on Zhao Feng. Only then did she realize that she had been paying less attention to Zhao Feng after joining the inner sect. As for the sensational incident at the Crimson Moon Cave, she did not participate in it herself. She only thought that Zhao Feng was lucky. Yunming Xiang was only at the first sky, so she didn't sign up for the Floating Crest competition. More and more people gathered at the square. Inner disciples and true disciples appeared one after another. An hour later, all of the inner sect disciples had arrived. Even some of the outer sect disciples had heard the news and come to watch. The sect would turn a blind eye to such a large-scale event, allowing them to enter the inner sect. Junior Brother Zhao, good luck. Yang Qingshan and Nan Gongfan cheered for Zhao Feng from the crowd. Zhao Feng nodded with a smile and greeted his 2 senior brothers. Junior Brother Zhao, come over here. A masculine voice came from the other side of the crowd. It's core disciple Yangon. Yangon. He is ranked second among the direct disciples and is a popular candidate for the chief disciple position. The crowd went into an uproar. Yangon was wearing a white robe, and his perfect figure was like a marble sculpture. His handsomeness gave off a masculine charm. Being an inner disciple, Yangon's every action was watched by everyone. Some of the female disciples' faces went red as they stared at that handsome figure. Senior brother Yang. Zhao Feng went up and walked together with Yangon. In name, they were both disciples of First Elder and could be considered as the only disciples of the sect. Yangon was a righteous person and hated evil. Although he wasn't very friendly to Zhao Feng, he didn't make things difficult for him and took care of Zhao Feng. He did his duty as a senior brother, and no one could find fault with him. Who's that guy? Why is he walking together with senior brother Yang? Many people were surprised. Many people knew what was going on and started to whisper among themselves. At this point in time, Zhao Feng also received many gazes. Zhao Feng's azure hair and one I made everyone look at him. He was calm as he walked together with Yangon. Yangon had purposely brought Zhao Feng into the circle of core disciples. Amongst the core disciples, the one Zhao Feng was familiar with were Sister Yuan, Quan Shun, and Yuan Ji. This guy's a disciple of First Elder. Sister Yuan looked at Zhao Feng with unfriendliness. She was still walking with Ran Xiaoyuan. The latter's bright eyes were slightly timid as she greeted Zhao Feng. Knowing that Zhao Feng was going to participate in the floating crest competition, Sister Yuan teased, "Sister Ran, if you meet this brat in the competition, don't be polite and teach him a lesson. I might not meet him." Ran Xiaoyuan's face went slightly red as she sneaked a glance at Zhao Feng. The floating crest competition had a 7-match system. This meant that everyone had to fight 7 matches. The winner would fight against the winner, and the loser would fight against the loser. There were dozens of people participating in the competition, and each person only had to fight 7 matches. The chances of meeting someone wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. Apart from that, the 7-match system had another rule. Those who won 4 matches in a row would be directly selected. The more they won, the more powerful their next opponent would be, and the greater the resistance they would face. If they could win 4 matches in a row, they would definitely have a strength to enter the top 10. An hour later, the upper echelon of the clan appeared. In the middle of the Sky Center field was a 100-yard-wide array stage. The array stage was strengthened by the power of the array, and the person in charge was Headjong of the Clan Mission Division. So, the clouds and the mountains shook as the wind howled and the heaven-earth yuan qi fluctuated. The next instant, a wave of true spirit realm pressure came from several directions. "Greetings, Elder." The first to arrive were Elder Shui and Haiyun Master. After Elder Shui and Haiyun Master sat down, another powerful aura appeared that was much stronger than normal elders. First Elder. Everyone bowed, and even the 2 elders stood up. Immediately following, that was the Clan Master and another elder. "Greetings, Clan Master. Greetings, Granny Luiwe." The disciples, deacons, and vice heads below all bowed respectfully. The 2 experts at the true spirit realm were both females. One of them was a peerless beauty dressed in a palace robe. Her eyes were as clear as water, and she had a hint of holiness in her calmness that made others feel inferior. She was the Broken Moon Clan Master. Although they were both at the true spirit realm, the Broken Moon Clan Master's aura was much stronger than Haiyun Master's. Next to the Broken Moon Clan Master was a white-haired old lady who gave off the smell of herbs. Head of the Grasswood Division, Granny Luiwe. Zhao Feng knew some information about this person. Granny Luiwe was the #1 pill master of the clan, and in terms of cultivation and skill, she surpassed Old Man Guan. The clan master, First Elder, and the 3 elders all sat down. Behind them stood their core disciples. Behind the Broken Moon Clan Master were 2 female disciples, Sister Yuan and Ran Xiaoyuan. Ran Xiaoyuan's master is the Clan Master. Zhao Feng was shocked. No wonder Ran Xiaoyuan had reached the peak 3rd rank at such a young age. Her inner skill was most likely the Heavenly Wind God technique. Behind Elder Shui, among the few disciples, there was a fair-skinned youth with a baby face. It was Sun Yuanhao, who had a changeable body. Sun Yuanhao's cultivation had reached the peak second sky, and his talent was comparable to Beimua's. Behind Hai Yin Master stood Beimua, Yuan Ji, Quan Shun, and company. As for behind Granny Lu Yue, there was a pure and beautiful girl who looked very familiar. Lu Yue. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. He didn't think that Lu Yue would be the disciple of the Grasswood Division. Lu Yue's cultivation had also reached the peak second sky. With her high-tier spiritual body and Granny Lu Yue, the #1 pill master of the clan, she had a huge advantage. Zhao Feng standing behind First Elder also surprised Lu Yue. First Elder and the clan master had the highest status in the Broken Moon clan. Why can't I get rid of this guy? Lu Yue's eyebrows furrowed as she felt irritated. She and Zhao Feng were the juniors of Lord Songtie and Lord Guanjuan respectively. When Lu Yue first entered the clan, she had tried to compete with Zhao Feng, but she lost every time. And now, she was the disciple of Granny Lu Yue, while Zhao Feng was the disciple of First Elder. It was as if the latter was always stronger than her. What was even more depressing was that the latter's talent was only a low-tier spiritual body. Interesting, I can't believe I've met so many familiar people in this competition. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. His eyes scanned across the familiar figures. Beimua, Ran Xiaoyun, Lu Yu, Sun Yuanhao, Xiao Sun. All of these people were here to participate in the competition for the slots. The once every 5 years floating crest competition will now begin. Vice Hall Master Li of the Central Hall yelled. His voice was as majestic as a bell. The crowd was silent. The competition was still the same as last year's 7 battles. Every participant had their own number, and they would draw lots to choose their opponent. After drawing lots, Zhao Feng returned behind First Elder. Brother Zhao, the strongest ones in this competition should be Beimua and Ran Xiaoyuan. As long as you don't meet either of them, you should be able to win 4 battles in a row. Yanggan analyzed. Beimua was the strongest amongst the latest batch of disciples in terms of talent, comprehension, and cultivation. And now, he had reached the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm, and he was showing signs of surpassing Hai Yin Master. As for Ran Xiaoyuan, she was a core disciple of the Clan Master, and her cultivation had reached the peak 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm. These two, I know them both. A weird expression appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The competition soon began. 1. On the formation platform, a layer of transparent white ripples lit up. There were already 2 disciples on the platform, and they had begun to fight. One of them was Xiao Sunday. After the Xing family mission, Xiao Sun had used his fortune to break through to the 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm. And this time, his opponent was an older disciple at the peak 2nd sky of the Ascended Realm. After exchanging 20 moves, Xiao Sun lost and left the stage. The winner would advance to the next round and fight with the other winners. The competition proceeded in an orderly manner. Beimua, Ran Xiaoyuan, Sun Yuanhao, and the other disciples all started to fight. On the 8th round, Beimua appeared. Northern dark, heavenly water. A dark blue true force surged around Beimua. Like a ripple of water, it transformed into a whirlpool shape. Like a small waterfall, it shot out tens of meters. What's going on? His opponent felt like he was suffocating and his face turned red. Wah! The disciple at the peak 2nd sky spat out a mouthful of blood. Beimua withdrew the dark blue whirlpool with a whoosh. Otherwise, that move just now would have been enough to crush his opponent to death. So strong. The participants were dumbfounded. Even some of the core disciples were startled. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.